Chapter 446. Qin Guang was speechless as he looked at the bunch of grandsons in front of him. However, his heart was blooming with joy. The effect of showing off his godly skills in front of everyone was too outstanding. That's right, the technique of sharpening pencils was actually useless. However, this didn't stop others from worshipping him. After showing off his prowess in front of them, in their hearts, he would definitely be the strongest pencil sharpener in the world. At the very least, when it came to sharpening pencils, they would become his fanatical fans. His heart was aching. Why didn't he have a statue of a god in picking up girls? If not, just because of his girlfriend, Jin Shirue, and the fact that countless people worshipped his godly skill in picking up girls, he would be able to earn a few thousand points of faith in a day. Forget it, don't bother about the details. After discovering this benefit, the way Qin Guang looked at the bunch of people in front of him changed. It was very gentle and amiable. They weren't humans but walking faith. However, Go Wei, who was a brainless fan of Jin Shirue, still found the main point. He pulled Qin Guang to ask if Jin Shirue was talking about him and if it was true. Qin Guang habitually denied, "No, there's no such thing." In the end, not a single one of them believed him. They all felt that he was talking nonsense. Think about it. Although I'm an internet celebrity now, that's Jin Shirue. She and I are worlds apart. How could she like me? Although she said it with the surname Qin, there are so many people with the surname Qin in the world. Why did it have to be me? That post that exposed my past was not wrong, but the person Jin Shirue likes is really not me, Qin Guang. She even talked about the light in my life. Isn't that a normal confession joke? It's very touching. The light in her life is me, Qin Guang? I want to, but I'm not good enough for her, okay? Qin Guang was also having a headache. To his own people, he could tell them the cause and effect of Wang Ren and Su Lijing's involvement, and others would believe it. However, most of the people in the dormitory were not that close. The matter between Wang Ren and Su Lijing was too big, and it couldn't be mentioned again. If it was spread out, it would cause a lot of trouble. This was also something that Wu Shan had specifically instructed. Without Su Lijing as a shield and a reason, his quibbling seemed very weak and unconvincing. He could only use the difference in status between him and Jin Shirue as an excuse. Go Wei still looked at Qin Guang skeptically. Qin Guang thought to himself, if it wasn't for the fact that you're constantly sending me letters, I would definitely beat you up. Go Wei added, that makes sense, but I also think that the goddess is right. Love had nothing to do with one's status or status. If it were any other celebrity, I definitely wouldn't believe it. But if it's our Shirue, I think she's the kind of pure girl who pursues true love. She's the most pure girl in the world. The love she wants is real love. Qin Guang's mouth formed an O shape. The world of diehard fans was really scary. I can't lend a statue to Jin Shirue to collect faith points. I'm really sorry. Just based on your love-struck expression, you alone should be worth hundreds of faith points, right? My heart hurts, it's wasted just like that. Qin Guang looked at Go Wei's forehead, his eyes shining. He felt as if he was looking at a mountain of gold and silver but couldn't bring it home. At this moment, another diehard fan of Jin Shirue snorted, "Brother Guang, I almost believed you." As he said that, he took out his phone and placed it in front of Qin Guang. A minute ago, Goddess Shirue just posted on Weibo. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is not to open my eyes, but to miss you in my heart. I love you, Qin Guang. I fell asleep listening to your piano last night and had a good sleep. When are you going to play a song for me? My dear like kiss. Actually, the one who posted this was not Jin Shirue but Jiang Yage. The one who announced their relationship was Jin Shirue, not her, Jiang Yage. She had 1,000 feelings in her heart but nowhere to express them, so she used Jin Shirue's account to post it. Others might not understand, but Jiang Yage knew that when Qin Guang saw the "my dear light" and "kiss," he would definitely understand that it was her, Jiang Yage, who said it. But others didn't see it that way. Far away in Beijing's Villa District, Jin Shirue and Jiang Yage were already in bed, laughing and fooling around. In Wujing, Qin Guang was also completely dumbfounded under the gaze of dozens of pairs of eyes. He swallowed his saliva. This Qin Guang, isn't he? Jiang Yage, you did it on purpose, right? You must have a grudge against me. That's right, Qin Guang knew that it was Jiang Yage who posted the Weibo, but he wasn't moved at all. He only wanted to drown her with his saliva. You're still quibbling. I was there when you wore a mask and played the piano at Wujing Art Center that day. You hit it so deeply, really deeply, so deeply that I can't see the bottom. Go Wei wailed at the top of his lungs as he tugged at his hand. Another diehard fan of Jin Shirue also broke down. How did you get her? Goddess Shirue has never said such things before. What have you turned our goddess into? Leniency if you confess. Resistance will be severe. If you don't tell the truth, I'll post this photo. Go Wei took out his phone and placed it in front of Chen Guang. *CK. You actually took a photo of me sleeping during the military training. Looking at the photo on Go Wei's phone, where he was sprawled out on the lower bunk, wearing only his briefs, Chen Guang's face turned green. It seemed like he had to tell the truth. He straightened his expression and became unprecedentedly serious. You might not believe it, but Jin Shiyue was the one who made the first move. Oh no, the first confession. I see. No wonder normal people can't reject her. Goddess Shiyue is really a good woman that you won't be able to find even if you had a lantern. You've really hit the jackpot. Hey, you guys believed it just like that. Goddess. She's indeed our goddess. Courageous love, pure love, bold love. He would never be pretentious, nor would he be timid. She doesn't care if you're rich or poor or ugly, or even if you're just a student. She says she loves you and she loves you. I want to be a fan of this kind of Jin Shiyue too. In the end, Chen Guang was still defeated by this group of people. Alright, quiet down. I wanted to run earlier and you guys wasted more than 10 minutes. There are even more reporters downstairs. Now tell me, what should I do? I have to run. Don't. Tell us how far the two of you have progressed. Go Wei still didn't give up. Save it. How can I tell you such a private matter? If I say that we're only in a platonic relationship, and that I haven't touched her hand until now, would you believe me? Yes. We believe everything Jin Shiyue's boyfriend says. But when you were saving people in the lake, didn't you touch her? Don't mention it. I was scared out of my wits at that time. How could I care about touching anything? I'm such an upright person. My mind would never have such dirty thoughts. Chen Guang didn't need to prepare a script to lie. In fact, his ripped briefs were about to burst. In the end, he successfully escaped with the help of this group of people. The method was simple. There was only one entrance to the dormitory, but one of his buddies' dormitory rooms was on the second floor behind the dormitory. He quietly ran over there, hung a bedsheet and went downstairs. Before the entertainment reporters at the main entrance could react, he ran to the parking lot and drove straight to Zhuo Jingxi's house. He called Fan Lingshan and went to Lilai County. He didn't know where else to go, so he decided to go back to his hometown. It had been a few days since he recognized Fan Lingshan as his sister. Now that he was done with his business, it was time to bring her back to his hometown. Chen Guang had already told his parents about this, and Chen Guoli and Feng Rong agreed without hesitation. Lingshan's mother had passed away, and the relatives of the Fan family were all like that. Lingshan's father couldn't protect her, and Fan Lingshan wasn't related to the Fan family at all. If she continued to stay in the Fan family, it would be like throwing a little lamb into a pack of wolves. Unfortunately, no one knew where Lingshan's mother's maiden home was, and there was no place for her to stay. Fan Lingshan was now a complete orphan. Although she was strong enough, who would like to live alone in the world? Now, Lingshan's mother's kidney was still in Feng Rong's body. No matter how much money was given, the Qin family would remember the kindness. Chen Guang remembered the kindness, and so did Chen Guoli and Feng Rong. Feng Rong, in particular, had always been thinking about her daughter who had passed away. Now, she felt that she had the responsibility and obligation to take over the position of Lingshan's mother and acknowledge this daughter. No one had any qualms about it. Therefore, when Chen Guang received Fan Lingshan's call, Chen Guoli and Feng Rong were immediately distressed after hearing about Fan Lingshan's situation. They repeatedly urged Chen Guang to bring Lingshan home as soon as possible. Therefore, Chen Guang wasn't casually acknowledging Fan Lingshan as his sister. He sincerely wanted to find a new home for Fan Lingshan. In the future, everyone would be a real family and not some random god-sister. Along the way, Chen Guang excitedly told Fan Lingshan about his family. He didn't talk about his parents but mainly talked about his uncle, aunt and so on. Unlike Fan Lingshan's relatives, Chen Guang's parents and siblings had helped each other all these years, and their relationship was very good. In the early years when Chen Guang's family was prosperous, it was Chen Guoli who helped everyone, and the siblings of the Chen family and the Feng family could be considered a local prominent family. In the past year, Chen Guang's family had fallen, and most of the medical expenses were supported by his uncles and aunts. Fan Lingshan listened enviously. "Brother, your family is so nice." Chen Guang laughed and patted Fan Lingshan's leg. "What do you mean my family is nice? They're also your family. You'll know when you get back. A whole family is waiting to see you." Fan Lingshan wasn't as excited as he imagined, and he didn't know what she was worried about. Chen Guang thought she was shy and introverted, so he said, "Lingshan, remember this. As your brother, I'll tell you again. You're my biological sister, and your people are also my family. You have 4 million. Let's not talk about going to university. When you get married in the future, I'll make the decision. I'll buy you a house and a car. Actually, I should have a sister, but she passed away early. My parents have always wanted a daughter. I won't say anything, and I'll treat you as a family in the future. You're a family with us. Qin Guang wasn't afraid of being mushy when he said this, because he really thought so in his heart. He didn't have a biological sister, but the feeling of having a biological sister was really good. Fan Lingshan was a little touched, and her eyes turned red. Brother. That's right. Qin Guang's eyes narrowed into slits as he smiled and continued, let me tell you a secret. When I left school in the morning, I told my dad that all our relatives will be here when we reach our hometown. Everyone wants to see you. So many people? Fan Lingshan's eyes were no longer red, but her face turned red again. Of course, this is a big matter. Chapter 447. At this time, Lilai County was also very lively. The Qin family, which had been down and out for more than a year, had finally swept away their bad luck in the past 2 months. Qin Guoli had been delaying the payment. Although he felt comfortable, he couldn't help but feel restrained. Recently, because of Su Lijing, Qin Guoli simply sold the money. Although it hurt, he was in a good mood. He was free from debt, which was also very comfortable. Now, the family was going to suck up to another person, which was double happiness. Although she was his daughter, Qin Guoli and Feng Rong had met Fan Lingshan many times in the hospital. They knew about her background and liked this well-behaved girl from the bottom of their hearts. In addition, there was another happiness, but Qin Guoli didn't tell Qin Guang. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that Zhu Jifa and his son firmly disagreed. According to Qin Guang's original intention, when he gave the money to Zhu Jifa, he didn't think about the interest. He didn't even think about asking Zhu Jifa for it. This was his kind intention. Zhu Jifa pinched his nose and accepted it, but when he thought about it later, he felt like there was a fishbone stuck in his throat and it was hard to swallow. Ever since we were young, I've always been the one to protect you. Suddenly, I owe you so much. My heart feels so bad. Although our relationship is better than blood brothers, I can't take advantage of you like this. After getting to know Lu Fei, Zhong Bai, and the others, not only did the new production line start, but there were also a lot of orders. The 2 lines were too busy. The factory's efficiency was getting better day by day. Not long after, it was on the 3rd line, but it was still too busy. Zhu Jifa's heart was even more unbearable. His father also found out that there was an extra 10 million in the factory and forced Zhu Jifa to ask where the money came from. Old Zhu told him everything, and then old Zhu slammed the table in front of Zhu Jifa. You can't do business like this, and you can't be like this as a person. Qin Guang found the order for you, Qin Guang helped you settle the loan, and Qin Guang lent you 10 million in cash without interest. How can you be so shameless as to accept all of it? No matter what you think, I, old Zhu, can't afford to lose my face in the county. People always point at my back and say that I've taken advantage of old Qin. Zhu Jifa had a bitter face. It's not that I don't want to give him shares, but he doesn't want it. Are you stupid? Can't give it to his father if he doesn't want it? Thus, old man Zhu and Zhu Jifa went to Qin Guoli's house. The father and son forced Qin Guoli to sign the contract and transfer 40% of the printing factory's shares to Qin Guoli. At first, the father and son of the Zhu family even wanted to transfer 50%, but Qin Guoli also refused to do so. In fact, people in Qin Guoli's small circle were like this. They valued loyalty very much. It didn't matter how much money they made, but they couldn't lack the word loyalty when they conducted themselves in society. So when the Qin family's hot pot restaurant got into trouble, the huge hole caused by the poisoning of so many people was forcefully covered. Even the court had their own people, or else they wouldn't have kept on refusing to pay the debt. If it wasn't for Su Lijing's direct pressure from the city, Qin Guoli wouldn't have paid the money because he didn't want to cause trouble for his old buddies in the court. If he wanted to mess with the Qin family, he had to ask old Zhu, old Zhou, old Tang, and old Luo. Now, Qin Guoli was still working at old Zhou's hot pot restaurant, but on the other hand, he had become a major shareholder of the Zhu family's printing factory. The Qin family had prospered again. Now that the Qin family was going to recognize their daughter, this was considered a major event in the small circle of Lilai County. Qin Guang was still thinking about his relatives, but he didn't know that his father's friends had already set up nearly 100 tables at noon. Usually, a family's wedding banquet wasn't this lively. At 10:30 in the afternoon, Qin Guang and Fan Lingshan finally arrived at the county town. They didn't go home but went straight to the restaurant. Looking at the large crowd waiting at the entrance of the restaurant, Qin Guang and Fan Lingshan introduced them one by one. You've met my parents before. This is second uncle, this is third aunt, this is Uncle Zhou, this is Uncle Zhu, this is my best friend Zhu Jifa, and this is my classmate Deng Haiyang. Fan Lingshan's heart was so warm that it felt like she had crawled into a hot bed in the 12th month of the lunar calendar. Her tears immediately flowed. What a poor child. Feng Rong, Qin Guang's aunts, and other female elders all sobbed. After a while, Fan Lingshan was pulled away by Feng Rong and a group of female comrades to change clothes. It was said that these aunts had bought a set of clothes for Fan Lingshan. It was estimated that after she tried on each set, she would be able to make it in time for supper. As for Qin Guang, he was quietly pulled aside by Chen Guoli. He had no choice but to do so. In just a few minutes of meeting, at least 100 people came up to ask Qin Guang and Jin Shirui what was going on. Logically speaking, these relatives and friends in the county town shouldn't be so concerned about celebrity gossip, especially these elders. They were too busy with the bloody games at the mahjong table all day long. Chen Guoli and Feng Rong had heard his explanation and were well aware of it, but the others didn't. Dad, what do you think I should do? Everyone is asking me now. I have nowhere to hide. Why do you think these people are all so gossipy? Chen Guoli chuckled. Of course, my son is very capable. He can even chase after a celebrity. Why do I feel that your pronunciation of the word capable is not quite right? Chen Guoli patted Qin Guang's shoulder. I called Dr. Tang a few days ago. She said that you have recovered from your illness. You are very capable. All right. After dinner, I'll take Lingshan around the county town and then go back to Wujing. I'm having a headache now. Even if I escape from school today, I won't be able to live in peace in my hometown. The world is so big and there's nowhere to hide. You can do whatever you want. Lingshan is really pretty. I like her just by looking at her. You're a smart kid. Why did you think of taking her as your sister and bringing her back? Picking up a daughter for free and I don't even need to raise her. Qin Guoli have struck it rich. Chen Guoli brought up Fan Lingshan again. I say, kid, don't tell me you have some ulterior motives? That Officer Wu who took you as her sister, I always feel that there's something wrong with the way she looks at you. And that classmate of yours, Sun Xiaoxuan. The more people there are, the better. Oh, and Jiang Yage. Chen Guoli brought up a few names in a row. Qin Guang's face darkened. What are you talking about? Chen Guoli continued. Oh, isn't your cousin studying in Germany? What did he say in the WeChat group yesterday? Sister Qiong? If you have a younger sister, you will hate your younger sister. If you don't have a younger sister, you will hate your younger sister. He even said that he had already registered you at the German orthopedics department. I talked to him for a long time, saying that the person's name is Lingshan, not Qiong, but he still insisted on it. Is there an allusion to the name Sister Qiong? F***ck. You're my biological father. My cousin is also my biological cousin. We're really a family made in heaven. Qin Guang ground his teeth so hard that they creaked. Don't come back to China if you have the guts, or else I'll beat you up so badly that even my cousin won't be able to recognize you. Alright, anyway, I always feel that you're a womanizer. Although I'm very happy and proud to see my son so popular, you have to take it easy. Alright, I'll be careful. Qin Guang knew that he and his father couldn't explain, and it would only make things worse. Chen Guoli patted Qin Guang's shoulder again. Actually, I don't really care. You're not a child anymore anyway, so I can't control you. Children and grandchildren have their own blessings. I can understand that there are many people who like you. After all, when I was young, I was a famous handsome man in the county. The number of people chasing after me added up could form a line from the street to the end of East Street. Qin Guang, biological father. It's really my biological father. After dealing with his father, he still had to go back to see the others. As expected, they all rushed up to him one by one, either praising or asking questions. Little Guang, is the matter between you and Jin Shirui true? I heard that celebrities have quite a temper. Are you getting along well with her? Brother Guang, Brother Shirui, can you help me get an autograph from Sister Shirui? Qin Guang was put in a difficult situation. It was Chen Guoli who saw that he was about to have a headache and hurriedly rushed up and shouted, You elders better restrain yourselves. This matter is not even confirmed yet. What kind of status does she have? Why are we making such a big fuss over here? If this spreads to the ears of others, they'll think that our Chen family is rushing to get close to her. Young people shouldn't ask so much. If it's really like this, it'll be ruined if we keep publicizing it. With Chen Guoli's outburst, Qin Guang was finally relieved. Zhu Jifa and his high school classmates were much easier to deal with. Qin Guang only laughed it off for a while. In any case, he would never tell the truth even if he was beaten to death. Naturally, it was a good lunch, but there was an unexpected surprise. Halfway through the meal, someone made a fuss, saying that Qin Guang was quite popular on the internet and was called something like an almighty Superman. They asked him to go up and perform for everyone. Qin Guang didn't think too much about it. He picked up the pencil and went up the stage, causing a wave of cheers. In the end, not long after, he discovered that the god statue's faith value increased again. At this rate, it would increase by several tens of faith value a day. Including the 3 units of production earned from Go Wei and the others in the morning, in just one day, the GDP of the most useless god statue of sharpening pencils actually increased by 7 times. It reached 70 units in a day. Alright, this still couldn't compare to the god statue of Alto's 20,000 production per day. But an increase was a good thing, and he could see the dawn of victory. Moreover, this little increase in faith value was not the biggest gain. Instead, he discovered a trick. The most useless god statue of sharpening pencils had actually become the best entry point for him to increase his current faith value production. That's right, the lower the starting point, the greater the potential. He also discovered a problem. Why did the faith value of sharpening pencils increase so quickly? This was because the skill was really good. It was amazing, and no one deliberately practiced it. Even if others practiced it, they wouldn't be able to reach this level. Others only needed to see it once to understand in their hearts that he was the strongest in history. There was no suspense. Chapter 448. However, the piano was different. It was said that there was no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. When it came to piano playing skills, other people's views were never objective. Subjective consciousness dominated, and there had always been arguments about who was the best. It was the same logic as writing an essay. Through several videos and live broadcasts, many people had already admired his skills. During the period when he was playing, people who watched his live broadcasts or videos might think that he was the best in history and that he had successfully built a statue of a god. However, after a while they would gradually forget about him. However, it was difficult for people to worship him like they worshipped the god of racing. After all, the god of racing's racing record was there for all to see. No one could surpass it. As for piano skills, there was no quantitative assessment standard. Looking at the countless people applauding and joining in the fun, Qin Guang made up his mind. Before he built a statue of a god, he would focus on sharpening pencils. Someday, if he had the opportunity to go on TV or participate in a talent show, he might as well try it live on TV. Originally, he planned to keep Fan Lingshan in Lulai. However, although Fan Lingshan had recognized him as her family, they were still unfamiliar with each other. If Qin Guang wanted to leave, how could she be willing to stay in Lulai? Her reason was also very good. She wanted to restudy for her 3rd year of high school and take the college entrance examination at Gokyo University next year. She had already enrolled in a cram school in Wujing, so she had to go back to class. Our high school is also very good. When I was studying at this school, I easily got in, said Qin Guang. Fan Lingshan firmly refused. Teacher Zhua said that her uncle teaches at 7th high school. When school starts, I can go to 7th high school to listen in. Okay, you win. 7th high school is very strong. Qin Guang burst into tears. My good sister, why don't you understand your brother's thoughts? In fact, I just want you to stay at home so that I can go back and spend time with Teacher Zhua. No, I must rent the room opposite Teacher Zhua's door and let Lingshan live there. That way I can steal her scent at night. Alright, let's go back together. Qin Guang had no choice but to accept his fate. After waving goodbye to his parents, relatives, and friends, Qin Guang started the car and drove out. When he passed by a building, he stopped and pointed to the hot pot restaurant on the 2nd floor, saying, Lingshan, this restaurant used to be called Guoguang Bang Bang Xiang. It's our family's hot pot city. Then let's go and take a look. No, this shop belongs to someone else now. I just thought of some unhappy things. Actually, I just don't want Dad to work so hard anymore. Otherwise, I would have bought it back. It had been a year since the incident. Whether it was Qin Guang, Qin Guili, or even the local police officers in Lilai County, they still had no clue about the food poisoning case. Everyone knew that Qin Guili was reliable and it was impossible for there to be any problems with the ingredients. It was a case of food poisoning. Even if Yuan Fang did not look at it, there must be something fishy about it. How could he handle it? He could not catch the culprit. The incident happened in his own hot pot restaurant, and the signs of poisoning were so similar to food poisoning. Other than the Qin family taking the blame themselves, there was nothing they could do. Brother, don't be sad. Heaven's net has a long way to go. The truth will come to light sooner or later, Fan Lingshan comforted him. Qin Guang nodded. Of course I'm not in a hurry. I don't really need that money now. I'm just a little unhappy thinking about how my family was tricked so badly for no reason. His confidence was not without reason. Now that the heavenly Holy Grail had been upgraded to the second level, there was still a long way to go. When the old man completed the 3,000 worlds and became the true master of the Holy Grail, a godlike existence, he could dig you out with just a thought, okay? It's never too late for a villain to take revenge. I, Master Guang, am more vengeful than a villain. Don't let me catch you. When he returned to Wujing, it was really a coincidence. The tenant of the house opposite Zhuojingxi's was just about to leave, and the landlord brought an agent over to look at the house. Qin Guang decided to rent it on the spot. Firstly, he would definitely not be able to return to school in the near future. Secondly, of course, he wanted Lingshan to stay with him. At night, he could go knock on Zhuojingxi's door. That's good too. Qin Guang, you can stay opposite the house alone. Lingshan and I will stay together. You don't have to go out to eat. Zhuojingxi happily made the decision. Huh. Qin Guang was dumbfounded. After so long, it still didn't work out. This was different from what he wanted. Suddenly moving to a new house and renting someone else's house at that, there was naturally a lot of work to do. Qin Guang did not have much experience in this aspect. After helping out for half a day, he kicked Zhuojingxi and Fan Lingshan into the internet cafe in the school square. Great, the two of you are full of energy. I'm happy to be a hands-off boss. Qin Guang happily entered the internet cafe. He was a frequent visitor here. He and Wenwen had stirred up a lot of bloodshed here for a long time. When Wu Tong got into trouble, Sun Xiaoxuan and the rest of the class had to hide in this place. But this time, as soon as he entered the door, he realized something was wrong. Look, what did I see? It was a picture of the old man sitting on a booth in the internet cafe, rubbing his sword tower. *CK. He did not know which wicked grandson took this picture. At that time, he had not obtained the Holy Grail yet. He was a proper burden. He took a picture of the wicked grandson from the side. He was busy working while sweating profusely, and this wicked grandson even took a picture of his computer screen. 0 kills, 33 deaths, 0 assists. I was King endorsed. So be it. Why did you have to post my terrible battle record? Aren't you trying to embarrass this old man by doing this? You guys didn't take pictures of the few times I became a god? The caption below said, Shuiwei Goddess's boyfriend, Qin Guang, is a platinum member of the internet cafe. Come and play games with the goddess's boyfriend. Apply for a membership card now. 20% off. Get drinks. Brother Qin Guang. The staff recognized him at a glance. Qin Guang's face darkened. He pointed at the poster that took up almost half the wall. What's going on? Seeing that Qin Guang's expression didn't look good, the manager was terrified. He was afraid that Qin Guang would call the female Tyrannosaurus Wenwen over again. He broke out in a cold sweat. Boss asked me to do this. Brother Qin Guang, I'm really sorry. We all thought you wouldn't come again. This is really... I'll call the boss over immediately. I can't take the blame for this. In less than 30 seconds, the boss, who was sitting in his booth playing with others, ran over. Brother Guang, look at what I've done. If you have any complaints, I'll tear it down immediately. I didn't tell you, so I violated your portrait rights. I did something stupid. I was wrong. Please be magnanimous and let me go. Considering that you and Miss Wen have smashed our door so many times over the years. *CK. 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists. I can't take it. This game is a stain on my life. *CK, why did you guys only take this game? Look, we've won 38, 44. I've taken 33 out of 38 kills by myself. No, we can't be friends anymore. There's no place for you in the internet cafe world anymore. I have 99 ways to destroy your internet cafe. The boss and the staff were stunned. You don't care about the image rights, but the 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists. Don't. Brother, I was wrong. The owner of the internet cafe had also watched the live broadcast of the public trial. Someone who could defeat Su Lijing in front of the whole nation had 99 ways to deal with the owner of the internet cafe. You can't blame me for this. I don't have any other suitable photos. These photos weren't taken by me. They were taken by him. The boss decisively betrayed the staff. The staff had a long face. Boss, you can't be like this. You can't blame me for this. Brother Guang, you were too focused on your game. You don't know how lively the internet cafe was when you got those numbers. I just took a photo and used it. Qin Guang's face darkened. A stain on his life. This was definitely a huge stain on his life. An unforgivable stain on his life. He vaguely remembered that he was in a terrible fix at that time. He had sunk into desolation and was unable to extricate himself. If he had known that there were so many scumbags standing behind him to watch the fun, he would have definitely thrown the machine down and run away. No, I have to redeem my reputation. Otherwise, this stain will grow all the way to my god statue. He thought of the free faith points he got when he performed his pencil sharpening skills in the hall of his hometown. An idea popped into his mind. Anyway, he was famous now. Why was he still hiding it? Why not just do a live stream in the internet cafe? I'm also streaming on the live streaming platform. I'm now the first godly player in the Chinese server. If the young lads in this internet cafe and the viewers watching the live stream can witness me surging to the top 10 in the Southeast Asia server, the European server, and the American server at the same time, I'll be able to gather a whole bunch of fanatical fans if they see me surging to the top 10 in the Southeast Asia server, the European server, and the American server. There were more people who liked games than racing. The most important thing was that the viewers who liked games were more likely to get carried away. There was a higher chance of producing fanatical fans like Liu Fei. Any retired professional gamer or second-tier streamer could become a fanatic fan demon. Those female fans would even sacrifice themselves. How fanatical. With the old man's invincible skills, it wouldn't be hard for him to get some die-hard fans, right? One Liu Fei was worth 20 faith points. If he could get 10,000 fanatical fans through live streaming, he would immediately earn 200,000 faith points a day. There were also those ordinary fans, passers-by fans, and leftover fans with a hint of black in the middle and a hint of black in the middle. The GDP of this statue of God was going to skyrocket. There was no need to explain how it would beat Otto's God statue. Although it might be difficult, how would he know if he didn't try? Forget it, the old man was going to be rich. I've decided. I'll stay in this internet cafe to get more points. Live stream to get more points. The hundreds of people in this internet cafe were the first batch of fans of Master Guang. Once my god statue is built, none of you are allowed to leave without at least 17 to 18 faith points. Even if you beat them up, you will get more than 10 faith points. Do you see my fist that's as big as a clay pot? Don't you worship me? First ask if my fist agrees or not. The other thing was the live stream viewers. Their personal goals were as follows. When the god statue is built, there will be at least 5,000 fanatical fans. 100,000 normal fans. It was decided just like that. Alright, he was actually a little sad. If he had known this earlier, he would have joined the League of Legends Cup. Although he was a relic of Sword Tower and a super loyal fan, he couldn't deny the fact that there were more League of Legends players. Forget it, let's not think about this for now. I'll focus on what's in front of me first. Once I've decided, I'll start. Chapter 449. At this time, the hegemon of picking up girls, the model of a loser's counterattack, Lord Qinguang's presence in the internet cafe was gradually becoming a hot topic. No one cared about who Qinguang was, but the identity of Jin Shiyue's boyfriend was a big deal. Many people stood up from their seats and craned their necks to look at the door in the short amount of time he had taken to clean up the internet bar's owner and young man. Those who were in the game could only look. After all, the sky could collapse and the earth could split, but they couldn't just stand by in a group battle. But those who were in the middle of matchmaking or doing something else simply stood up and surrounded the door. You're Qinguang? A young man who didn't know how powerful he was came over angrily. *CKU. I've been a loyal fan for 10 years. I grew up watching the two goddesses dramas. You've tarnished my goddess. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? How are you worthy of Jin Shiyue? I'll beat you up. The internet cafe owner was shocked. Something bad was going to happen. Qinguang looked up at him. I'm Qinguang. What are you going to do about it? Come on, don't just talk. Let's have a spar. If someone else had a better attitude, he might have had the heart to explain or deny it. But wasn't his mouth too cheap? What do you mean I've tarnished Jin Shiyue? What do you mean I'm not worthy of her? I can say such things myself. I can even joke around with people who are close to me. I'm not even close to you, and you're already scolding me the moment we meet. Isn't that too much? Qinguang only needed 5 seconds and a can of cola on the counter to deal with Jin Shiyue's irrational fan. Of course, he didn't bribe him with a can of cola. Instead, he squeezed the can of cola in his hand. 5 seconds later, the unopened can of cola was crushed by his monstrous strength. Qinguang's left and right-hand fanatic who was scolding Qinguang with all his might and was about to call for people to beat him up was stunned. The owner of the internet cafe who was about to call for help was also dumbfounded. Qinguang gently placed his left hand on the solid wood counter of the internet cafe and looked at him from the corner of his eyes. I've always had a principle. When I can use my hands, I won't use my mouth. If you're interested, Go ask around about me, Qin Guang's reputation in Wenxing town. Have Brother Scar and Glasses Wu come out yet? How have you been lately? The two of them definitely know what kind of person I am. They just came out a few days ago. Speaking of which, it's strange. Everyone's guessing how they got in. The two of them had only been out for 2 days when they teamed up and went out of town. They said they didn't want to mingle in the underworld anymore and ran off to work for someone. Qin Guang grinned. It doesn't matter if I tell you. I was the one who did it. More than a dozen people wanted to ambush me after receiving money. I knocked them all down on the ground and then I sent them to the police station. It's that simple. So your fists are that hard. You defeated more than a dozen people by yourself. Use your brain and think about it. If it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to bring trouble to Jin Shiyue, I'd break your legs right now and throw you into the police station. Since you're already causing trouble for me, I won't deny it. So what if I hit on your goddess? You don't like it? Do you think I'm someone you can trample on? Alright, it's you, the one who took a picture of me with your phone. Post my words online. Qin Guang pointed at a person who was hiding behind the crowd and secretly taking a picture of him with his phone. That person wanted to hide immediately, but Qin Guang went up and grabbed him. Stop hiding. I purposely let you take a picture of me. He didn't want to be famous before. He didn't want to be associated with Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's name because he was afraid that these things would annoy him. Today he had been hiding since early in the morning. Now that it was almost evening, he still couldn't settle down. He was extremely annoyed. Can't we just live happily? Isn't it just Jin Shiyue's boyfriend? Everyone comes up to me and tries to take advantage of me. Can't you be a little more reasonable? Let's not talk about whether it's true or not. Even if it's true, you can't be like this. Even a clay figurine has its limits. This is too much. If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, it can't be avoided. Qin Guang was also furious. Don't you all hate me for hitting on Jin Shiyue? Don't you all think that I'm not worthy of her? Although there's nothing between us, I have no choice but to bite the bullet and go against her. Previously, he had been unwilling to admit to it. On one hand, he really didn't want to be involved in the lives of celebrities. On the other hand, he felt that no matter what Jin Shiyue said, it would be convenient for her to renege on the debt. But if he admitted to it, then the matter would be completely real. But he couldn't handle Jin Shiyue's second confession on Weibo. It was another affectionate show of affection early in the morning. I'm trying my best to act shamelessly to suppress the matter and let your fans forget about it. But you keep jumping into the fire pit step by step. Our thoughts aren't the same. Now that I can't continue acting shamelessly, I might as well admit to it. I'll see what you all want. If you have the ability, come and tear me apart. Come, point the camera at me. I'll say a few words later. Help me post it online. Qin Guang patted the guy who was taking a picture secretly. His legs were trembling from the nervousness. The guy slowly reacted. Could it be that this person wants to use me to do an online press conference? That's great. I'll be able to bask in his glory and become famous. Oh wait, let me make a call first. After all, this wasn't just his own matter. After making this decision, he had to inform Jin Shiyue again and see what she had to say. In front of everyone, the call went through. There were people coming and going on Jin Shiyue's side. It seemed to be very lively. It sounded like she was on a film set. Jin Shiyue. Qin Guang opened his mouth and planned to get straight to the point. Still calling me by my name. Call me Shiyue. I'm your girlfriend now. Jin Shiyue chuckled on the phone. Although the people in the internet cafe were shocked by the coke explosion, they couldn't hold back their curiosity. All of them moved their heads very close. With Qin Guang's neck as the center, they almost formed a mountain of human heads. This time, when Jin Shiyue's extremely coquettish voice came through the phone, the people who were eavesdropping at the side all felt their legs go soft. Qin Guang was dumbfounded. I'm mentally prepared for whatever you say on Weibo, but this is a private call. What's the matter? I'm doing my makeup here. There's still a night scene later. Jin Shiyue said again. Qin Guang made up his mind. There were a lot of people on her side. She purposely acted like this for the people around her to see. There must be a way to communicate when dating. Then I'll say it directly. My head is about to explode because of people messing with me all day long. I plan to say something online. It's the same as admitting to this matter. It'll make others give up and leave. You don't have any connections on your side, right? I was planning to call you after I'm done with work tonight. I've already confessed to you so many times. Can't you give me a reply? My group of girlfriends are saying that I've confessed to you again and again, but I don't care about it. In fact, I also know that this matter will certainly cause you trouble, but I believe that you will certainly be able to get through it. Don't worry about bringing shame to me. Just act according to your own temperament. To put it bluntly, if it's really your scandal, others may not dare to report it for the sake of me and Solomon. Okay, my makeup is done. I've gone to the camera. Let's talk later. I really miss you. Jean Shirue was a gentle woman. She rarely said such words. But this time no one knew what her motive was. She even said that the media didn't dare to report her scandal. After hanging up the phone, not only was Qin Guang in a daze, but several people who were eavesdropping on the phone were also shocked. This was not the same as the Jean Shirue they had always known, but the voice couldn't be fake. People all knew that Jean Shirue was gentle and considerate, but they didn't know that there was such a domineering side behind her. In fact, no one knew, and Jiang Yage didn't expect, that Jean Shirue's rare domineering was because she didn't want Qin Guang to take the initiative to clarify the relationship on Weibo because he was troubled. She just wanted Qin Guang to pinch his nose and acquiesce. Even if she could only be a lover on Weibo and on the phone with him, even if she could only hide behind Jiang Yage, not dare to approach him and could only watch Jiang Yage seduce or flirt with him, Jean Shirue didn't want to lose this temporary and illusory happiness. Okay buddy, let's shoot. If it's good, I'll forward it to you with the account of Almighty Superman. I'll make sure you become famous. Don't thank me. Call me Lei Feng. Qin Guang also steeled his heart. Soldiers come, generals will fight. Since Jean Shirue had already said this, he couldn't care less about what would happen in the future. But now he had to take responsibility. When the guy heard that there was actually an Almighty Superman forwarding it, he also became excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Okay. By the way, does your phone have a beautifying function? Make me look more handsome. Brother, I've already stepped into the entertainment industry, so I have to pay attention to my image. I can't let my family Shirue lose face. Qin Guang said as he fiddled with the hair on his head. Hello everyone, my name is Qin Guang, I'm an almighty Superman. I love life and I love Jean Shirue. Wait a minute. In short, feelings are a matter between two people. It's actually quite personal. If I had a choice, I would also like to live my life with a lower profile. It's really troubling for me to become like this. So, let me give you a simple explanation. Whether it's Shirue's fans or friends from the media, if you have anything you want to talk to me about, I'll be happy to do so. You can leave a message on my Weibo or you can join my fan club. Oh, I haven't created a fan club yet. I'll announce it later. Everything can be discussed, but I hope that you won't come and disturb my private life. After all, things have already come to this. If you stop dating because of your fans' objections, then wouldn't all celebrities have to spend the rest of their lives alone? If you really like my family Shirue, then please calm down and think about it. Do you like Shirue's songs, or Shirue's movies or dramas? I firmly believe that it's not just her face that can make you like Shirue. There are many beautiful people in the world, but why is there only one Shirue? Everyone, please focus your attention on Shirue's works again. There has never been an artist or a celebrity who can achieve results purely based on their looks. I was lucky enough to receive Shirue's favor, but this has already caused her a lot of trouble. As her man, I really don't want to bring her even more trouble. Actually, I don't have a very good temper. I believe that many people have seen me fly into a rage on television. But I have no choice. As a man, I have to bear the consequences. Chapter 450. Qin Guang's words were not only for the audience and readers on Weibo to hear, but also for the fans around him to hear. After saying that, he crushed a can of cola in front of the camera. Perhaps after this video was uploaded, there would still be some fanatical fans who would not take it seriously. Then Qin Guang could only apologize. I've already said the ugly words first. I've already let you know how powerful I am. Public figures are also people and they have their own temper. If you still want to provoke me, you should first consider whether your head is harder or the cola. It was also because Qin Guang did not have a manager. If he had a public relations team, they would definitely be able to suggest a better way to deal with it. But now he planned to act according to his own temper. The carrot and the stick had been thrown out. Whether you want to take it or not, you should think clearly. After the video was uploaded, Qin Guang immediately reposted it with the nickname, Almighty Superman. The effect of this skin grinding is really good. I feel like Takashi Kaneshiro. The people in the internet cafe also stopped making a fuss. What a joke. Weren't the 2 crushed cans of cola on the ground scary? Qin Guang also experienced one's comfort. With strength, that's how confident you are. Then he told the owner of the internet cafe that he planned to do a live broadcast in his internet cafe to increase his points. You want to do a live broadcast of getting first place in the Dota 4 server? The owner of the internet cafe and the people who were watching from the side all widened their eyes, looking at him as if he was an idiot. From time to time they would turn their heads to look at the bloody record of 0 kills, 33 deaths and 0 assists on the wall. There were only 3 words in everyone's mind: ha. No, someone remembered that Almighty Superman had posted a few videos on Weibo. In those videos, it was indeed him showing off his skills, showing off his opponents to the extreme. There was no one else who could turn the ladder competition into a highlight reel. His score on the ladder of the national server was indeed 10,000 points. But this was not logical, it was not scientific. Was this the same person who had 0 kills and 33 deaths? He must have found a substitute to play, definitely. So the question was, which beast of a substitute player was able to get 10,000 points? If there was really someone who could play 10,000 points, then this brother would not need to play. It would be better to directly participate in the International Invitational Tournament and fight for the championship. Even if it wasn't a sure win, the team that Godwon Janwei joined would definitely be a strong team among strong teams. It would be a solid favorite to win. Moreover, up until now he was the only god in the national server. The highest among the others didn't even reach 9,000 points. The gap was too big. A substitute player could help him get there, but he couldn't do it himself? Or could it be that he found an actor along the way? That was bullsh*t. One had to know that when he used this account to increase his points, almost every match had at least 4,000 to 5,000 spectators. Up until now, many dedicated websites had video archives of his matches along the way. Those matches corresponded to his climb up the ladder step by step. None of them could be faked or deceived. We all understood the logic, but we couldn't understand it at all. Actually, Qin Guang had slaughtered everyone in this internet cafe many times before. However, the person who had been watching him from behind was coincidentally not here today. The internet cafe manager also didn't have the time to watch every time. Of those present today, no one had seen Qin Guang's live performance. What's with your expressions? What kind of attitude is this? Are you looking down on me? Qin Guang glared and waved his phone. Didn't you see my Weibo, the omnipotent Superman? Bro, I live streamed to increase my points, how could it be fake? Although that's what you say, you can't brag and be unreasonable just because you're Jin Shiryu's boyfriend. This is also you. The #1 god in the national server is also you. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, we don't believe it. The internet cafe owner gritted his teeth and said heavily, even if you don't let me use your portrait, I can't accept your bragging. One must have principles. One can't bow down for 5 buckets of rice. Boss, you're so righteous. I'm a fan of such a boss. That's right. You can't go against your conscience to earn money. I support the boss. I don't believe it either. Just because of what you said, I'll top up 1,000 as a sign of respect. I'll stay at your place for the next 2 months. Qin Guang's face darkened again. The old man wanted to develop them into his fanatical fans, but their attitudes made the old man very disappointed. Alright, I admit that I did the 0 kills and 33 deaths, but don't you understand the principle of, a scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes? Qin Guang said, unwilling to give up. As a witness of the 33 deaths case, the internet cafe owner said, Brother Guang, you might not be able to look at me with new eyes. You have to dig your eyes out to see if you can believe it. The contrast between you and before is too big. As a professional League of Legends player, although I don't really understand Dota Tower, I really feel that you must have found a lot of experts to play on your behalf to achieve this result. Qin Guang was furious. Since it was so difficult to erect a Dota Tower god statue, there must be many people who thought like these bastards. I don't believe it today. I'll start a live stream to increase my points. If you have the guts, don't leave. He didn't say the other half of the hidden meaning. I'll let you all become my faith. Alright, not only will I not leave, but I'll also sync your game to that big color TV and do a live stream for everyone to watch. How about that? That's a big TV for S-League and Dota International Invitational Tournament. The internet cafe owner pointed at the 70-inch super large color TV hanging in the middle of the hall. Alright. Qin Guang agreed in one breath. The live stream platform didn't consider anything else. Qin Guang called Zhong Bai to contact his friend Little Kong. If others wanted to start a live stream, it would take at least a day or 2 to verify their ID and account registration. However, the boss of Bamboo Livestream personally handled the matter and settled the live stream within 10 minutes. Then, under the enthusiastic guidance of the internet cafe owner, Qin Guang set up the live stream, logged into the game and was ready to start work. The name of the live stream was also exceptionally domineering. Number 1, 10,000 points in the national server, all-around Superman, live stream breaking 10,000 points in all 4 servers. Little Tsong was also very helpful. At that time he put it on the homepage of Bamboo Livestream to promote it. Zhong Bai's reputation was very useful. The last time when he streamed the piano performance also made Bamboo Livestream's popularity skyrocket. It was quite a pleasant collaboration. The game hadn't even started queuing yet, but the livestream room was flooded with people. 5 minutes later, the livestream's popularity exploded with 50,000 people. Bullet Screen 1, brother 10,000 fans? In person? Bullet Screen 2, 10,000 Bullet Screen Guru is live streaming? Didn't many people say that they were playing on behalf of others? Previously they were all live streams to increase their points. This gimmick is ridiculous. Bullet Screen 3, Post Bar Guru 8,000 points, Bullet Screen Guru 10,000 points. Sure enough, Bullet Screen Guru is a little stronger. Bullet Screen 4. Upstairs, aren't you a Bullet Screen Guru yourself? Aren't you stupid? Bullet Screen 5. Go away damn troll above. There's a rhythm everywhere, annoying dog. Bullet Screen 6. Light years is the unit of time. Bullet Screen 7. Gentle reminder from Bamboo Livestream. Enter eye protection mode to activate eye protection mode. Bullet Screen 8. Whoever can hit Taotai, I will recognize him as my father on the spot. Bullet Screen 9. My son is about to be born. My surname is Ma. Everyone help me think of a name. Bullet Screen 10. Maradona. Bullet Screen 11. Forcibly recognize him as your father, 6666666. Qin Guang was still debugging the game mouse and buttons. He accidentally cut to the bullet screen. Then he looked at the number of online viewers unhappily. Why are there only 50,000 people? This is completely not up to my expectations. Only 50,000 viewers. Where am I going to find 100,000 ordinary fans? In fact, in terms of popularity, the strongest livestream platform in the country should be Soy Milk Livestream. However, Qin Guang didn't know anyone there, and it would take too much time to review it. Forget it. It would be stupid not to use his Weibo account for no reason. So he decisively opened his Weibo. Hello everyone, today's almighty Superman is still cute. I have improved the method of live streaming. Below is my Bamboo Livestream. I welcome everyone to witness the miracle with me. If the number of viewers exceeds 500,000, there will be colorful photos. If the number exceeds 5 million, there will be a video link between me and my girlfriend, Jean Shirue. The people who were watching from the back were speechless. Damn it, is this how you use your girlfriend? Of course, Qin Guang was bragging. Even if he thought with his toes, he would know that it was impossible to reach 5 million viewers. Soy Milk Livestream had more than 4 million viewers at most in the International Invitational Tournament. He was live streaming with people all the way and didn't increase the number of viewers. It would be a miracle if he could reach 5 million. Anyway, now that he had confirmed his identity as Jean Shirua's boyfriend, he could also show off his unwarranted affection. It was also a response to her several confessions. It was better for a man to take the initiative. After posting on Weibo, Qin Guang returned to his livestream. He was overjoyed when he saw the number of viewers skyrocketing. It did not take long for it to exceed 300,000. Different from other zombie live streams, Qin Guang's 300,000 viewers were all living people. The bullet screen was so densely packed that it was hard to see the screen clearly. However, Qin Guang didn't care about it at all. He queued up and went to work. At that moment, his stairway points in the Southeast Asian server had reached 9,500. It was not far from 10,000. The grandson behind him seemed to be a veteran player. F***CK. It's really 9,500 now. Don't mess around. Brother Guang, aren't you screwing with your teammates by opening such a high account? I pity his 4 teammates. The latter matches are based on the average score of both sides. He alone has 9,500 points. If he's matched with someone with 6,000 points, it means that he'll have to drag 4 teammates with 5,000 points to fight against 5 experts with 6,000 points. I don't care what you think. I bet that if Brother Guang wins this match, I'll give you 5,000 on my card, the owner of the internet cafe said darkly. In fact, he had his own plans. It was normal for Qin Guang to lose, but if he won he would give him 5,000 on his card. In the future this internet cafe would be his exclusive hideout. No, he couldn't say it in such a bad way. It would be his exclusive hideout. Jean Shirua's boyfriend surfs the internet here every day. What a hot topic. F***CKU. Shut your mouths. Qin Guang turned around and glared at them. It was time to choose someone. He would choose Carl first to calm himself down. Chen Guang was intensely preparing to increase his points. He didn't have time to read the comments. However, he didn't know that his repost and his own Weibo post had blown up the internet again. Chapter 451. That video was his first time replying to Jin Shiyue's love affair. He did it casually, but it caused an uproar on the internet. The die-hard fans of Almighty Superman felt that Almighty Bro was indeed Almighty Bro. Even a loser's counterattack could be described in such a domineering manner. Some female fans expressed their heartbreak. Almighty Bro was already taken, and his competitor was still Jin Shiyue. They hoped that they could be lovers again in their next lives. If not, it would be nice to be a special friend in this life. They would definitely not go to Jin Shiyue's place to make a fuss. But most of them were doubting and slandering him. How can a loser like him be so arrogant? How can he be worthy of our Shiyue? TSK wearing such lousy clothes. What kind of lousy taste is he? How dare he be with our goddess? If I were you, I'd drown myself to death trying to pick up girls. You still have the cheek to ask me to think about it? Hanging out with a loser like you will only lower the level of our goddess. I just can't stand it when you pick up our goddess. So what? Everyone quiet down and listen to what I have to say. This Almighty Superman is a liar, a damned liar, a big liar. The naive Shiyue goddess must have been deceived by him. We must expose him. Think about it, isn't he just an internet celebrity? Who knows if his millions of fans are real or fake? Yes, you can sharpen pencils, race, play the piano, and throw darts, but you're just an internet celebrity. What makes you worthy of Goddess Jean? I was originally a hater, but after reading what the previous poster said, I don't know why, but it seems like he knows a lot of things. Agreed +1. No matter how much he knows, I just can't get used to his arrogant attitude of lecturing others. That's right. Boycott this almighty scum. Let's go beat him up. Those who support me, raise your hands. Hey, raise your hands. Previous poster, you definitely haven't finished watching the video. Please watch the last part before you consider. Damn. He crushed cola with his bare hands. My mom told me to go do my homework. I'll go beat him up when I'm in high school and stronger. Unlike the fans, Jin Shiyue's circle of friends felt that Chen Guang's response was quite appropriate. He gave Jin Shiyue a proper reply and warned those entertainment paparazzi who didn't care about personal privacy. Especially that sentence. If they stopped dating because of the fans' objections, wouldn't all the celebrities have to spend the rest of their lives alone? Jin Shiyue's friends in the industry deeply felt the same way. It wasn't easy to be an artiste, and it was even more difficult to be a female artiste. Love was a basic human emotion. Who wouldn't be moved when they met someone they were fated to like? But even if they loved each other to death, they wouldn't dare to date each other. Even if they did date each other, they would have to do it secretly. They were afraid that once it was exposed, it would be a devastating blow to their career. Jin Shiyue and Chen Guang's high-profile public display of affection made them green with envy, but they didn't dare to imitate it. At this time, Jin Shiyue was chatting with her close friends in the group. Shiyue's boyfriend is not bad. He's responsible. Although he's a little immature, he's not afraid of anything. This brother can really fight. He crushed cola with his bare hands. I just asked my retired bodyguard to try, but he said it's not easy to exert strength. It's too difficult. Jin Shiyue laughed and replied, I don't want him to be too mature. He's only 21. That's true. It's a relationship. It's fine as long as you like him. Jiang Yage, who was sitting next to Jin Shiyue, was green with envy. Sister Shiyue, I can't accept this. That's what I should be saying. Jin Shiyue turned around and smiled at Jiang Yage. It's not like you don't know that I'm putting on an act to trick them. I'm sacrificing a lot. Jiang Yage was happy again. I know you're the best to me, Sister Shiyue. I haven't seen him in a long time. I really want to see him. You don't know how many times I've dreamed of him these past few days. How could I not know? Last night, you were sleeping and squeezing my leg with all your might. You're screaming. You strength. You strength. Jiang Yage's face changed. Did I? Jin Shiyue played a recording. Chen Guang. You strength. Don't stop. Jiang Yage blushed and desperately tried to snatch the phone. At this moment, someone in the WeChat group sent a screenshot. It was Chen Guang's cute declaration on Weibo. The group of women, just a second ago he was still praising you. You're going too far by involving Jin Shiyue in order to gain popularity. What do you mean by video connection? Although Jin Shiyue is your girlfriend, she's not an ordinary girl. Do you know how long it takes for an artist like her to talk to her manager and sign a big contract if she wants to appear on a live broadcast platform? You're suddenly talking about video connection? Everyone started to worry. They didn't know if Jin Shirui would be angry. Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage were also stunned. Jiang Yage chuckled. Why is he doing a live broadcast again? He's finally enlightened. Does he want to be a celebrity? Sai, it's just that his acting skills are too crazy. When he's good, we were all shocked. When he's bad, it's simply devastating. The few hours we wasted previously almost made Big Beard Deng lose all his beard in anxiety. Jin Shirui wasn't unhappy at all. Instead, she was secretly happy that she could help Qin Guang. She actually wanted to use her own Weibo to repost the video, but she felt that it wasn't appropriate. She was worried that it would make Jiang Yage suspicious. She didn't want her little happiness from enjoying a relationship on Weibo to hurt Jiang Yage. Deep in her heart, her willfulness was only at this level. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yage clapped her hands. I was worried that I couldn't see him. I sent him a bunch of messages on WeChat, but he didn't reply to me. Video connection after 5 million people. That's a good idea. Let's help him repost it. His words are like spilled water. He can't just go back on his word, right? Before she could finish speaking, Jiang Yage reposted the video using her own account. Then she urged Jin Shirui to repost it too. That wasn't all. She even went to the WeChat group and said, "Everyone hurry and let my brother-in-law repost it. Let him surpass 5 million people." Since Jiang Yage was like this, Jin Shirui also sent a smiley face. Everyone help him out. It's rare that he wants to do something seriously. The WeChat group that Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage were in was a small circle of the top celebrities in the country. There were no managers or reporters in the group, only superstars. The left-handed and right-handed duo were among the top A-listers in the country. Ever since they debuted at the age of 10, they had never failed in any of their productions, be it in the ratings or box office. The albums that they released had never failed either. Even in the current downturn of the recording industry, their albums that were released once every 2 years easily sat firmly in the top 3 best-selling albums of the year. They were also a frequent guest on the top Chinese music chart. Their all-round development in film, television, and singing, coupled with their perfect artistic talent, excellent image and temperament, years of hard work, and constantly releasing new works that caught people's eyes. Most importantly, they had a background that no one dared to offend. This allowed the 20-year-olds to stand at the top of the celebrity pyramid along with many of the older generation. Of course, the two of them were not considered juniors in the industry. After all, they debuted too early. Although they were young, they still had 10 years of experience. In the WeChat group, other than Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage, there were also 2 or 3 A-listers in the country. There were also about a dozen people who were on the same level as their left-handed and right-handed counterparts. As for the A-listers and B-listers who were below them, there were even more of them. As for those C-listers who had just starred in 1 or 2 popular dramas and gained some fame, they would not be able to enter unless they were recommended and recognized by everyone. Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage had never asked for help in this group before. With their status, there was no need for them to ask for help from others. But this time the situation was different. Jiang Yage spoke first and Jin Shirui nodded again. She wanted to create popularity for her boyfriend. It was not a formal matter, but it meant a lot to some people. There were many people in the group who wanted to do Jin Shirui a favor but could not find an entry point. Now she finally spoke. A minute later, A-lister and crosstalk actor Yu Yunfeng posted on Weibo. Sister Shirui's boyfriend, Brother Guang, is doing a live broadcast. Oh my god. This is amazing. I can't take it anymore. Oh my god. Invincible. Quite a lot. Brother Guang, did you beat someone up again? 2 minutes later, B-lister Lin Jia reposted Qin Guang's Weibo. 5 minutes later, A-lister and famous actor Hu Gu posted on Weibo. That's right, it was a direct post and not a repost. Shirui Goddess's boyfriend, Brother Qin Guang, is doing a live broadcast on Bamboo Dota. Fans who like this game, go and support him. Attached is the link. 6 minutes later, A-lister and Asian Heavenly King Li Junjie posted on Weibo. 4,000 points ladder contestants look up to the gods. China's first 10,000 points giant god, Shirui Goddess's boyfriend, Almighty Qin Guang, is doing a live broadcast on Bamboo Dota. I'm going to write a song for him. 6 minutes later, in short, there were at least 30 to 40 people in this group who either reposted or wrote their own Weibo posts. But this was not the end. Superstars gathered to join in the fun, and it could cause a chain reaction. When other C-listers and D-listers saw this, they became anxious. Oh my god, all the big stars are supporting, I have to support too. At least I can pull them into the circle. What's more, Jin Shiryua's boyfriend is something new. We also want the number of people to surpass 500,000 to see his looks. This was simply like dominoes, one after another. That evening, the internet was flooded with comments about Chen Guang. Weibo exploded. The entertainment industry also became lively. All the major Q groups, WeChat groups and Chieba exploded. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that something he came up with on a whim would cause such a huge commotion on the internet. Chapter 452. Chen Guang had no idea what was going on outside. He was busy fighting, so he didn't have the time to check on the number of viewers. He gave Zhuo Jingxi a call and told her that he had some matters to attend to. From the looks of it, he wouldn't be able to return tonight. That's right, he planned to rush to the top of the Southeast Asian server in one go. Wasn't it just 500 points? Wasn't it just winning 20 rounds in a row? How big of a deal was that? There weren't many people who liked Dota. Normally, the number of viewers in Dota, even if it was the finals of a top competition, wouldn't exceed 4 million. Moreover, there were a lot of fake viewers. God knew how many of them were zombie fans. Those who didn't understand the game wouldn't be able to understand it no matter how amazing Chen Guang's maneuvers were. The gaming circle was actually quite a closed circle. No matter how famous the people in this circle were, even if they were the world champions, only the young people who liked the game would know about it. Those who were slightly older or those who didn't like this game but another game, wouldn't know about it at all. The majority of the viewers who came through the celebrities' Weibo posts couldn't understand the exquisite maneuvers in Chen Guang's live stream. At most, they would only exclaim when Chen Guang double killed, triple killed, quadruple killed, or even went berserk. Was this game so simple? Just by watching this person move his mouse here and there, he could kill everyone? But even if they couldn't understand it, it didn't stop these people from staying in the live stream. They were still thinking about Chen Guang's looks and the video connection with Jin Shiryue. Chen Guang's Weibo post had effectively kept non-gamers here. Therefore, Chen Guang's live stream completely exploded. Ever since Jin Jiang and Jin Shiryue reposted it, the number of viewers started to increase from 300,000 to 600,000. 1 million, 1,800,000, 3 million, 5,500,000. It didn't stop, it was still increasing. Little Tsong had already transferred more than half of the server resources of the entire website to Chen Guang's livestream. At first, he was considering whether he should send some zombie fans to Chen Guang to boost his popularity. However, after seeing the situation, he realized that there was no need for that. There was really no need for that. Little Tsong watched as the number of registered users soared, then looked at the popularity of Chen Guang's livestream that exploded in the livestream industry. His face was almost crooked from smiling. Since the beginning of Bamboo live streaming, he has used many ways to promote his popularity, such as finding celebrities to do live streaming, signing Korean girl groups, or poaching well-known anchors from other platforms. Although these business methods are quite effective, in the past 6 months, Bamboo has not succeeded in surpassing soy milk to become the #1 in the industry. In the end, the guy that Zhongbai introduced was really awesome. The last time he played the piano, the popularity of Bamboo's live broadcast skyrocketed. This time it brought him directly to the sky. I didn't think that there would be a day when I, Little Tsong, could be brought to the sky by someone. After today, the number of new registered users is more than the countless business methods in the past 3 months combined. Little Tsong was a businessman. He also knew that although the other party was giving him such a good opportunity because of their friendship, he couldn't silently take advantage of such a big advantage. After today, if this person still wanted to work in the livestream industry, the contract that others poached from him would be at least 8 figures a year. Therefore, after thinking about it, he called Zhongbai. At first, he wanted to throw out a contract of 20 million a year because he thought it was worth it. However, when he heard from Zhongbai that this god directly snatched away nearly 200 million in assets in the racing competition, and then thought about the other party's identity as Jin Shiryue's boyfriend, Little Tsong looked at the contract that his secretary had just prepared and hesitated. 4 other anchors, this was simply enough to make people rush up and beg for the contract. However, it didn't seem to be very attractive to this brother Chen Guang. He began to worry again. What should he do? At this time, the outside world was in full swing, but it didn't affect Chen Guang's performance at all. His game was almost at the end, and he was leading his other 4 teammates to stand on the enemy's high ground. Some people who originally suspected that he was playing on behalf of others were already in the internet cafe with their mouths wide open and eyes blinded. With 9,500 points, he actually led 4 teammates with 5,000 points to crush an opponent with an average of 6,000 points. From start to finish, he maintained an absolute suppression. What was even more frightening was that the game character he was controlling displayed perfect control. Every movement, every skill release, the control of attack, defense, and development rhythm, as well as the prediction of where to fog and chase. It was all too perfect. It was so perfect that it didn't seem like it was being controlled by a human. It was more like a machine, and it was a robot with a blueprint. The owner of the internet cafe who had promised him 5,000 yuan couldn't say a word from start to finish. Brother, you really are blinding my eyes. It turned out that you, God Wan Qingxi, had fought your way up to the top with your own strength without mixing it up. Finally, about half an hour into the game, the other party helplessly typed GG. After easily winning the game, Qin Guang switched to the screen to look at the situation in the live broadcast room. He was blinded by the dense barrage of comments. When he looked at the number of people online, he couldn't believe his eyes. 34 million people online? Damn. I only played a game for half an hour and they really gave me so many people? No wonder the screen was full of comments calling me a liar. I didn't look good and I didn't have a video call with Jin Shiyue. How could I have thought of this situation? How could I come out in the middle of a team battle and turn on the camera? Bullsh*T. That Bullsh*T live broadcast announcement that I posted on Weibo was so powerful? Why can't I believe my own eyes? I only have a little more than 10 million fans and with a shout, more than 8 million viewers came? My fan conversion rate is so high? That's right, that's for sure. I'm an almighty Superman. Alright, this is still Bullsh*T. So, what's wrong with this world? Then he immediately gave Little Tsong a call and asked if this brother had deliberately manipulated zombie fans backstage to cause trouble and forcefully gather 5 million viewers to stir up trouble. Unexpectedly, Little Tsong insisted that the number of people in the audience was definitely not fake. They were all real living people. Now, 3/4 of the entire live broadcast platform servers are in your live broadcast room. Little Tsong still wanted to say something but Qin Guang hung up on him. I'm in a daze right now and I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. I just casually said that I wanted to find Jin Shiyue for a video call, but I didn't expect it to come true. What should I do now? Turning on the camera was a small matter. With my handsome and domineering face, I'll definitely be able to get all 8 million people to become my fans. Oh right, boss, does your camera have a beautifying function? No. Forget it, I'll not turn on the camera. I'm a skilled player and I still have to rely on my strength to make a living. Although my looks are heaven-defying, I can't be so superficial. Chapter 453. His head hurt. He had already sent out the message, but when he called just now, Jin Shiyue was obviously filming on the set. She must be busy now, how could he call her for a video call? Besides, she was such a big shot. Although she claimed to be his girlfriend, in reality, it wasn't like that at all. It was indeed too much to bother her like this. The countless viewers in the live stream, seeing that Qin Guang had already finished a round without any movement, started to make a ruckus again. What scammer, what malicious hype, all sorts of words came out. The small number of real Dota players in the audience completely suppressed the discussion about the game. It couldn't be helped, there were all kinds of birds in the forest. The purpose of these people in the live stream wasn't to see Qin Guang himself or to see him play the game, it was just to see Jin Shiyue. Towards the overwhelming abuse and doubts in the bullet screen, Qin Guang only smiled calmly and then blocked the bullet screen. He had to block it. It was really infuriating. Without the bullet screen it was much quieter. Brother Qin Guang, I know why there are so many people in your live stream. A guy sitting beside him was scrolling through Weibo. Qin Guang turned his head and looked, only to find that countless celebrities were either reposting or personally writing on Weibo to promote his live stream. He counted with his fingers and cursed in his heart. According to the advertising fees of internet celebrities, how much advertising fees would he owe? Oh, it's okay, I'm not familiar with those people anyway and I didn't ask them to post it. You don't have to pay, I'll just pretend that nothing happened. Fine, let them scold, anyway the main purpose of my live stream is for the Dota statue of God. Don't be fooled by the popularity of the live stream, those who don't like Dota will obviously not provide a single cent of faith for the Dota statue of God. It doesn't matter even if those who are clamoring to cancel their subscriptions run away. Just as he was about to switch back to the game interface, Jin Shiyue took the initiative to call. When he answered, the person speaking was actually Jiang Yache. Hello? Didn't you say that you would video call when the number reached 5 million? Sister Shiyue and I have been waiting for you here for a long time, why don't you turn on the computer and play the video? Stop fooling around. I'm just spouting nonsense. Jiang Yage panicked. How can you say that? Sister Shirue and I have reposted it, so many people have reposted it. If you go back on your word, the consequences will be very serious. It'll ruin my reputation. So serious? Jiang Yage nodded heavily. It's that serious? Quick. We have to start shooting in a few minutes. We won't be able to chat for a few minutes. Just show your face a little. Qin Guang rolled his eyes. If he didn't turn on the video call, he would be targeted instead. He first asked the boss to turn on the webcam and microphone before logging into QQ. As soon as he did so, Jin Shiryue's video request popped up. After connecting the video, Jin Shiryue's beautiful face appeared on the screen. At this time, her hair was tied up in a bun. It was obvious that she was in a costume drama. Even if it was a low-quality video call, it still couldn't diminish her beauty. She smiled sweetly at the camera, but the first thing she said was not to Qin Guang. Instead, she said, "Hello everyone in the live stream room, I'm Jin Shiryue. I'm very happy to see everyone here. Please support my boyfriend like how you support me." Just as Jin Shiryue finished speaking, Jiang Yage also moved her face over and blinked at the camera. She even squeezed Jin Shiryue's head to the side. "I finally get to see you. Support your left and right hand, support brother-in-law." On the other side, Jin Shiryue snatched the camera back. "Here we've connected. The stage manager is calling us over to shoot the movie. We'll go offline first." Jiang Yage moved her face over again. "Everyone, don't scold brother-in-law for not keeping his word. Otherwise we'll be angry." The video call was really connected. Not only was there Jin Shiryue, but there was also Jiang Yage. The moment Jin Shiryue opened her mouth, she called him her boyfriend. Jiang Yage said brother-in-law every time she opened her mouth. "Sai, do you guys have to be so overboard with your public display of affection? Are you trying to kill us single dogs?" The old men in the livestream room held their hearts and cried out in pain. The internet cafe colleagues behind Qin Guang were also crying for help. Although her left and right hand weren't high and mighty, no one could see what they were like in private. Usually these two people were elusive. But for her man, she actually took time out between filming to do a video call. No one would have thought that Jin Shiryue would go to such an extent for her boyfriend. If he had such a wife, what else could he ask for? Too much, this was simply too much. Merciless abuse. Qin Guang hung up the video call. His mind wasn't thinking about Jin Shiryue. Instead, he felt that Jiang Yage's eyes were blinking strangely. The frequency seemed to be too high? What was she hinting at? "Brother, you're practically the god of picking up girls. I'm going to kneel down for you." The guy sitting next to Qin Guang turned his head and patted Qin Guang's shoulder heavily. His eyes were filled with admiration. Qin Guang unblocked the bullet screen and was speechless. He didn't know who started the rhythm of the bullet screen, but the screen was filled with 4 words. God of picking up girls? Oh my, I really need a god of picking up girls. Although the time of the video call was short, it satisfied the majority of the audience. There weren't many people scolding in the bullet screen. After all, he had already done what he said. During this time, the number of people in the live broadcast room had gradually increased to 9 million. Not only were the audience from Bamboo Live Broadcast gathered here, but many people were even pulled over from other platforms. If it was an anchor who truly intended to devote himself to the live broadcast industry, he would be so excited that he wouldn't even know what his surname was. But at this time, Qin Guang was thinking in his heart. He didn't know how many fanatical fans he could produce among these 9 million viewers. Popularity was all illusory, faith was the real thing. In fact, he also knew that he shouldn't have too much hope. There were less than 100 fans who could contribute double digits like Rufei or Wupan Junyao to the title of God of Racing on a global scale. Fanatical fans weren't that easy to come by. It required the other party to be completely liberated from the body and soul before they could produce extreme worship in the depths of their hearts. Oh my, Thailand's dead sissy's physical and mental liberation seemed a bit scary? Alright, don't think about those useless things. Turning off the video, Qin Guang left a voice message and said, "Thank you, everyone, for your support today. Those who love Dota, please stay behind and witness a miracle with me. As for the rest, you guys can go back to what you're busy with. I'll show you guys another day. No matter what you guys like, I'll appear before you guys sooner or later." He began to crazily increase his points. After a short video call, the number of people in the live broadcast room gradually began to drop. This was also a normal phenomenon. After all, most of the audience came for the video call with Jin Shiryue. These people were satisfied, but they also knew that there wouldn't be another video call in a short period of time. They didn't understand the game, so there was no point in continuing to stay here. 9 million, 8 million, 7 million. In the end, when the number of people dropped to more than 1.5 million, it finally stopped dropping. At this time, most of the people who were willing to stay were Dota players. The reason for them to stay was also very simple. In the previous game, the skills that Qin Guang had displayed were really out of this world. His celestial stairway points were also really high. These people were the people that he really needed to witness his magnificent feat. However, it wasn't completely without benefits. In less than half an hour, Qin Guang changed from a nameless newcomer in the industry who had just started live streaming to the top live streamer in this industry. If there were a total of 2 million real viewers in the evening of the national Dota live broadcast, Qin Guang personally diverted 3/4 of them. This was a rare thing in the entire industry, not to mention that he was a newcomer who had just started live streaming. He even attracted many Dota players who used to only watch live broadcasts on other platforms. In fact, these people were initially moved by the clamor on the internet and came for Jin Shiyue's video call. However, they were real Dota players. They could understand Qin Guang's skills. This place was like a black hole to them. Once they came, they couldn't leave. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Qin Guang climbed to the top of the Southeast Asian server with a terrifying record of 20 consecutive wins. Extremely perfect skills, never making mistakes in team battles, crushing the enemy with the wind, going against the wind to save the world. Every game was a highlight of his perfect control, and the audience was blown away. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning. When he announced that he had succeeded today and was preparing to go offline, there were still more than 500,000 live fans left in the live broadcast room. Although he went home to sleep, the legend remained in internet cafes, tieba, and forums. Although I'm a professional player, I've also become his fan. I've never thought that one person could play the game to this extent. I used to think that the top players were all in the professional teams, and that the upper limit of the amateur players would definitely not be able to catch up with the professional players. But now I realize that I was wrong. I was ridiculously wrong. I don't understand how he did it at all. He's a freak, a miracle in the history of esports. His appearance can advance the standard of esports by 20 years. He's the epitome of perfection, the epitome of unparalleled strength. He turned a game of 5 people into a domain of 1 person. This was the first time Qin Guang had used a live broadcast to show the perfect skills he had obtained in the hellish training grounds of Dota to the world. He used his undeniable strength to conquer every player in the live broadcast room, completely shattering all doubts and negations on the internet. The next day at 10 o'clock in the morning, Qin Guang woke up on time and went to the internet cafe to continue his live broadcast. The number of people waiting in the internet cafe today was at least several times that of yesterday. The internet cafe was so crowded that it was almost impossible to stand. Yesterday, the news of him winning 20 consecutive games and rushing to the top of the game had spread throughout the 5 capitals. The boss was also very quick-witted to publicize this news to increase the popularity of the internet cafe. Qin Guang did not comment on this. The more people sitting in the internet cafe and watching his first-person view on TV, the better. It was another day of fierce battles. Just because 2 of their teammates had lost a match in 1 match, they won 30 matches to their heart's content. Starting from 8,000 points in the US server, they reached the top in just 1 day and stopped at 8,750 points. At least 200 people came to the internet cafe early in the morning and stayed until midnight. When Qin Guang got up and was ready to leave, the internet cafe in the middle of the night was filled with thunderous applause. The 1.7 million viewers on the platform were also sending gifts like crazy and sending comments like crazy. Not bad, his audience had increased again today. Yesterday there were still a lot of people who did not come to the other station. Today they finally came. Qin Guang was getting closer and closer to the top of the 4 servers. Chapter 454. On the 3rd day, the number of live stream viewers increased to 2 million. This time, even players who were not from Dota Tower but players from Playing with Dogs Next Door came. Who wouldn't like a live stream that was always winning and showing off every second? Even if they didn't know much about Dota, MOBA games were all the same. On the 4th day, the American server reached the top, and the number of viewers exceeded 2.5 million. On the 5th day, they started to attack the European server again. Other platforms, such as Soy Milk Live Streaming, announced that they were poaching Qin Guang with an annual salary of 20 million. Although Qin Guang was tempted, he ignored them. Compared to the money, he cared more about the faith points. Currently, people who knew him came directly to Bamboo platform to watch the live stream. Seeing that the statue of Dota was almost in his hands, he didn't want any trouble to happen. If he moved now, he would lose popularity, and if he lost popularity, he would lose faith points. In addition, he didn't believe that Xiao Tsong, who had always worked well with him, wouldn't do nothing. On the 6th day, Xiao Tsong came personally. He didn't come alone, but came to the internet cafe with Zhong Bai to find him. Xiao Tsong and Zhong Bai had a very good relationship, and Zhong Bai was someone that Qin Guang trusted. With Zhong Bai as the middleman, everything could be discussed easily. During a short break at noon, the three of them sat together in a private room in Jingya Pavilion. Qin Guang didn't expect Xiao Tsong to come personally. This was much more sincere than other platforms. When he saw the contract that Little Tsong had sent him, he was also shocked. Bamboo Live Streaming's current market valuation was close to $200 million, and Xiao Tsong owned about 70% of the shares. In this contract, he used some unknown means to convince the other shareholders to directly give Qin Guang 5% of the shares, and the other shareholders' shares would be reduced proportionally. This meant that Qin Guang, including the last time he played the piano and the 6 days of Dota, had a total of 7 days of live streaming. He earned $10 million, which was equivalent to 60 million renminbi in China. This was much more shocking than the annual salary of 20 million yuan offered by other platforms. This was a huge amount of cash that had been transferred to his account, and it had made him one of the major shareholders of Bamboo Live Streaming. That was not all. In addition to the proportion of shares, there was also a work contract. Unlike other people's annual salary contracts, Little Tsong seemed to know that he was just playing around, so he simply prepared an hourly contract for him. Every hour of live broadcast he would earn 10,000 yuan. This meant that if he could live 8 hours a day like other full-time broadcasters, his annual salary would be close to 30 million yuan. Qin Guang thought to himself, although I'm happy that you're giving me money for free, things happened too suddenly, and I don't understand at all. This money was not money at all. Brother, what do you think highly of me? Am I worth the price? Brother Qin Guang, in fact, I should have come to you 2 days ago. However, in order to convince the other shareholders, I delayed it a little. I finally settled it last night, so I flew over from Denghai this morning. Are you satisfied with this contract? If there's no problem, please sign it. We can handle the rest of the procedures slowly. Little Tsong looked at Qin Guang with a smile and put the pen in front of Qin Guang. He believed that no one could refuse the contract he proposed, such a temptation. In a sense, he was indeed giving money for free. Am I worth this price? Unexpectedly, Qin Guang did not take his pen but asked. Of course it's worth it. Let me tell you a few figures. Before you started live streaming, our platform had about 30 million registered users, and the number of active users was less than 10 million. In just a few days, the number of registered users skyrocketed to 40 million, and the number of active users increased by 3 million. As the CEO of Bamboo Live Streaming, I shouldn't disclose these things to my live streamers, but Qin Guang, you are different from others, so I'll tell you this. My team has done accurate calculations. If we want to achieve this user growth by advertising, we have to maintain advertising expenses of at least 30 million per month for 3 months. You may not know this, but you used 6 days to expand our platform by 30% out of thin air. Little Tsong concluded, so, in this account, it's because you didn't ask us for advertising fees, or else you would still be at a loss. That's why I really want to keep you. To be honest, I'm very afraid that other platforms will poach you, which will cause a heavy blow to me. In the beginning, we just casually cooperated, and I really didn't expect to create a giant in the live streaming industry. You must know that you are currently streaming a relatively small number of games. Qin Guang was happy. Then I really have unintentionally planted a willow tree. In fact, there were some things that Little Tsong didn't say clearly. The most important factor that prompted him to make this decision was actually not what he said. He could be considered half an insider in the industry, and he knew a little about Jin Shiyue's background. He was even more clear that with a family like Jin Shiyue's, once she announced her love life to the public and confirmed their relationship, this pair would basically be able to grow up far away. He didn't just invest in Qin Guang, but also Jin Shiyue's boyfriend, who was more likely to be her future son-in-law. To be able to tie him to the same boat as this son-in-law before he ascended to the throne, a mere 60 million renminbi investment was really worth it. As they chatted, Qin Guang actually understood in his heart. Why did his live streaming room explode in popularity? It couldn't be separated from the celebrity publicity that Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage did during the broadcast that day. Most of the face that Little Tsong gave him was for Jin Shiyue. Then the problem was that he and Jin Shiyue didn't really have that level of relationship. If it was a thick-skinned man, he might have happily picked up this big bargain. But Qin Guang wasn't that kind of person. He always felt uncomfortable. At that time he used Jin Shiryue's name as a joke to gain popularity, and thought that it was an impossible situation. It really happened and he really connected with Jin Shiryue and Jiang Yache. At that time he was actually quite embarrassed, feeling that he owed her a huge favor. Now he still continued to use Jin Shiryue's name to swindle and deceive. He shouldn't be like this. But now in front of him there was another new need. This time the Dota god statue was about to be erected, but what about the other statues in the future? If he wanted to collect faith and make more people worship him, the most reliable method was of course to become a celebrity. But first he couldn't sing. Second he couldn't act. Third he didn't know how to put on a show. Fourth he didn't know how to do variety shows. His face was barely passable, but he was still miles away from being extremely handsome. In short, he wanted to be a celebrity, but he didn't have the talent to become a top celebrity. Currently the skills that he knew were all unorthodox. It was not a bad idea to participate in the rally competition and become the overlord of the official competition. This way he could often show his face on Central TV Department 5. For example, the reputation of the racing king Schumacher would definitely not be lower than that of an A-list superstar. Unfortunately, he did not have the time to do so. Azure's demand for the idol was getting bigger and bigger, and he was extremely busy. He had to build a new idol and earn more faith points. It was really impossible for him to be a professional racer and participate in the race day by day. Other than racing, the other skills that he knew were all unorthodox. It was completely impossible for him to rely on traditional artists to debut and mingle in the entertainment industry. The rise of the live streaming industry had given him a brand new path. In the future, if he wanted to build a statue of a god, he could do both live streaming and Weibo at the same time. He would definitely get twice the results with half the effort. He could totally embark on the path of an unorthodox, all-round superstar. Little Tsong was indeed very sincere. If he could work well with him, it would definitely be a win-win situation. You earn money, and I collect faith. Everyone would be happy. He understood the logic, but this contract had to be signed. As a man, no matter how shameless he was, he still had to have a bottom line. Seeing that he was actually hesitating, Little Tsong was also shocked and quickly gave Zhongbai a look. Zhongbai rolled his eyes and ignored Little Kong. How would I dare to butt in on brother racing god's matters? I'll let him think it through himself. Otherwise, if I make him unhappy, wouldn't I tear it apart for those guys? There are a few problems. First, my live streaming time might not be fixed. I don't think it's worth it for you to invest in me like this. I don't deserve to receive these shares. Second, if I do live streaming in the future, it will most likely not be Dota. I will often come up with some unorthodox methods such as the piano performance, sharpening pencils, or throwing darts. Actually, I don't want anything else. I just want popularity. Qingguang said. Little Tsong slapped his thigh. It's good that you want popularity. The more popular you are, the more popular my website will be, and the more valuable it will be. Isn't that good? No. You might not understand what I mean. I don't want money. I only want popularity. So, you can use the shares that you are going to give me or my salary as publicity expenses. Spend it all on me. Huh? I don't want money? I just want publicity? Little Tsong felt that he had heard wrongly. Don't joke around. Who doesn't want money? I don't want money. I just want publicity. My next plan might be to make myself a star, but I will be different from ordinary stars. This is because all I know are unorthodox methods. Some things might not be that interesting and I won't be able to attract many people. However, I want you to think of ways to make me popular. As long as I start broadcasting, the actual audience cannot be less than 1 million. The more the better. I want every live streaming, no matter what the content is, I want the best publicity. Even if you lose money, you have to do it. Qingguang thought it through very clearly. Money was a worldly possession that could not be brought with him in life or death. However, if he could continuously collect faith and promote the statue, he could speed up the process of promoting the world in a cup. After completing all the world in a cup, he could save Lori. She was the god emperor of the endless god world. He could even become the lord of the 3,000 worlds, a godlike existence. This universe of his was just one of the countless planes in Lori's father's body. If I do well, the entire world, the entire universe will be mine. Do I still need this bit of money? I am a person with aspirations and ideals, okay? There was no need to say which was more important. Chapter 455. What he threw to Little Tsong was a big pie in the sky. He didn't want money, he just wanted popularity. Little Tsong would be more motivated to do things, and the website would become bigger and stronger. That would be his pure profit. What he wanted the most now was faith points, and he wanted to earn money. That way everyone would be happy. Okay. I won't take advantage of you for nothing. You want popularity, I'll give it to you. Let's create a star together. An unconventional superstar that's completely different from traditional celebrities. Actually, I signed those Korean girl groups and new celebrities to create a star through live streaming. Unfortunately, it wasn't very successful before. But if it's an almighty Superman like you, I think I can put up a fight. Previously, I prepared a 5-year contract for you. Currently, the shares are worth 60 million, the hourly salary is 10,000, and the annual salary is about 30 million. How about this? No matter what you want to broadcast, I'll create at least 50 million in advertising fees from you every year. This has to be written in the contract. Also, if your live streaming time is long enough and you're popular enough, the advertising fees can increase. There's no upper limit. Anyway, your live streaming room is with me, and the popularity is with my website. Little Tsong slapped his thigh. It was settled. Zhongbai was happy. He had personally witnessed Chen Guang racing, throwing darts, and playing the piano. Although he didn't know where Chen Guang learned those messy skills, he knew that if Chen Guang really wanted to do something, even if it was just taking a dump in the toilet, it would definitely be shocking. He had much more confidence in Chen Guang than the average person. Zhongbai patted Little Tsong's shoulder. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Zhongbai absolutely didn't dare to believe it. If he was really tricked by the heavenly Holy Grail and forced to that extent, it wasn't like he couldn't broadcast the matter of taking a dump. Next, Little Tsong signed the last-minute revised contract and it was done. After that, Chen Guang returned to the internet cafe to start his live streaming. Little Tsong was indeed awesome. After returning, he started to crazily advertise, and the number of viewers in his live streaming room once again exceeded 3 million. The 7th day. This was a day worthy of commemoration by all the Dota players around the world. To Chen Guang, it was also an extremely important day. When the words Tianhui's victory appeared on the screen, he had finally reached 10,000 points in the last American server. At the same time, on the platform of the Cloud City's wall, the 100-meter-tall statue of Dota slowly rose. The image of the statue given by the Holy Grail was not bad. It was a huge round shield, which symbolized Dota's highest honor, the champion shield of the International Invitational Tournament. Chen Guang had never participated in an international invitational tournament before, but he had hidden the champion's shield in his own cup world. Chen Guang's mind entered the world in the cup. He was also looking forward to seeing how much faith the statue would give him. In the outside world, the Sword Tower Circle was in a frenzy. The first great god in history was born. There was no one before him, and perhaps no one in the future would be able to do so. Whether it was domestic or foreign Dota enthusiasts, after seeing the data on the data network, they were all stunned. After clicking in to see the results, it was even more unbelievable. All kinds of exclamations of, "Oh my God, my seventh granduncle," rang out one after another. The players who didn't watch the live stream and followed Chen Guang all the way up didn't understand how someone could create such a miracle at all. But for those who watched until now, there were only exclamation marks in their minds. Countless faith points emerged from these people's minds and rushed straight to the sky, crossing thousands of mountains and rivers, heading straight to where Chen Guang was. At this time, Chen Guang stood under the champion's shield, put his hand on it, and quietly felt the faith points that were gradually surging up. After a long time, he opened his eyes in satisfaction. In fact, the harvest was already very good. The nonsensical idea of 10,000 fanatical fans was impossible. Every fanatical fan was a rare resource that could only be encountered and not sought. The entire Sword Tower Circle provided him with a total of about 100 fanatical fans. Ordinary fans and casual fans were all at the level of 100,000. On average, the Dota statue's daily faith income was as much as 10,000, almost half of the income of Otto's statue. One had to know that the source of the Otto statue's faith was almost 70% of the world's population. There were less than 1 million Sword Tower players in the world. Relying on a higher proportion of fanatical fans and a smaller fan base, it generated close to half of the income of Otto's statue, increasing Chen Guang's daily total income to a little more than 30,000. To be honest, this was actually already a pleasant surprise. At this time, a notification suddenly sounded in his heart. It was the familiar electronic voice of the heavenly Holy Grail. The total amount of faith points has reached 150,000. Do you want to activate the acceleration of the world in the cup? Accelerate? What did that mean? That means if the next world in the cup appears 10 days later, you can pay the faith points to accelerate it once, which can reduce the time by about 1 day. Azure's voice came at the right time. Although I really want to become the master of the 3,000 worlds as soon as possible, I've never done anything like the world in the cup in the sky. I'm a little nervous, actually I'd rather it be slower. Speed up my ass. Qin Guang rolled his eyes. Azure chuckled. I'm sorry, I've already helped you to accelerate it. Don't worry, I can still protect you in the world in the cup, you won't die. Damn you. What did you say? Why is the sun so round today? Scram. Azure kicked Qin Guang away. Before he fell, she even reminded him, don't forget, you only have 52 days left. You still need a few statues. Qin Guang cursed Azure in his heart, but he still obtained some useful information. Azure had previously said that customizing a world in the acting cup required about 6 million faith points. Now, the cost of accelerating it for a day was 150,000. This meant that the frequency of the world in the cup in the sky was much higher than the frequency of seeing the spirit in the sky, about once a month and a half. At least he could breathe a sigh of relief. Just like before, there would be sudden attacks from time to time, which was a little too scary. He was looking forward to it and worried at the same time. What kind of style would his first world in the one-line Sky Cup be? Fortunately, there would be a notification one day in advance. When the time came, it shouldn't be too bad, right? After Azure kicked Qin Guang away, she turned around and flew to the center of Cloud City. Just as she was about to sit back on the computer, she suddenly heard a faint voice beside her. Is he like this now? How disappointing. Azure raised her eyebrows and turned around sharply. Then she said loudly, how did you get here? At this moment, on the ground in front of her, there stood a delicate and beautiful flower. It was about a foot tall, and its 6 crystal-clear petals were shining with an emerald green light. It was swaying non-stop in the windless center of Cloud City. Following Azure's words, this flower actually spoke. That's right, it was really speaking. Its petals opened and closed, and then a beautiful female voice was heard. The tone was cold, but it was pleasant to listen to. I wrote a letter to you and hid it next to his god's fury. When his god's fury broke through space and came, my letter came along with it. The god's wrath that this flower was talking about was actually the white light that tore apart Qin Guang's non-existent body in the universe when the heavenly Holy Grail broke through to the one-line sky from Jianling's sky. Dear Cry, you're too daring. How dare you tamper with his god's wrath? Aren't you afraid that something will happen to your soul? Azure rolled her eyes. She was about to break down because of this flower. This flower named Dear Cry sighed. You're right, something did happen. The letter I wrote was torn to pieces by God's wrath halfway, but it turned into this wisp of soul again. So that's it. What about your real body? Azure asked nervously. Dear Cry trembled. I don't know. This wisp of my soul has also lost contact with my real body. At first, this soul couldn't be condensed. After he came in just now, I borrowed some of his dharma and barely condensed this flower. Azure covered her forehead. Why did you write me a letter for no reason? I really admire you. Dear Cry's tone was still indifferent, but it seemed to be a little wronged. It's been 80 million years since you left, and I'm very unhappy alone. Her voice became lower and lower as she spoke, as if she was extremely tired after just transforming. The branches of Dear Cry that grew on the ground gradually bent, and the flower buds drooped down, no longer moving. Since then, in the empty world in the cup, there was a new person, Dear Cry Flower. Qin Guang, who had already left, naturally didn't know what happened in the world in the cup. He turned off the live broadcast and stood up to accept the worship and cheers of countless people in the internet cafe. The internet cafe owner was so excited that his face turned red. He rushed up and wanted to hug Qin Guang, and his 2 sausage lips kissed Qin Guang's face. Brother. You're my brother. You're too strong. I hereby announce that from now on, you're a lifetime honorary member of my internet cafe. You don't need to pay to surf the internet here. Every time you come, I'll give you a bottle of green tea. Qin Guang placed his palm on Su Tao's face and pulled Su Tao's head back. What the fuck? You're just a crappy internet cafe and you're still a lifetime honorary member? Your skin is comparable to mine. Move. Move your sausage mouth that can hold 2 tails of oil. He struggled to break free from the internet cafe owner's entanglement, but before he could take a step forward, another 7 or 8 men surrounded him. These guys' eyes were all shining with a murderous light. Quick, touch the great god and get some glory. Touch the stairway to heaven and you'll get 500 points. Great God, can you sell me today's battle robe? I'll pay 5,000. Great God, I'll pay 10,000 for your underwear. Great God, I'll change your gender for you. Qin Guang was scared out of his wits by this group of bastards. He kept retreating. These men were simply like scourges and fierce beasts. There were only 100 or so fanatical fans in total. The foreheads of these men in the internet cafe were all in the double digits. This place alone took up close to 10 people. The effect of watching live was indeed outstanding. If he were to stay here today, he wouldn't be able to keep his chastity in his old age. Just as he took 2 steps back, someone hugged him from behind. That plump and bouncy feeling was quite intense. Qin Guang turned his head. That's more like it. This was a rather hot girl with a pretty face. Her face was also unusually flushed, and the number of faith points that appeared on her forehead was as high as 18 points a day. Very good, very strong, very fanatical. She hugged Qin Guang with all her might. Everyone get out of my way. Please inject your great god essence into my body. Qin Guang was overjoyed. That's right, it's you. Just as he was about to hug this girl and run off to do something, someone shouted, "Save it. He's Jin Shiyue's boyfriend. Why would he like you?" A basin of cold water was poured over Qin Guang's head. That seemed to be the case. Although his relationship with Jin Shiyue was fake, the people didn't think so. He was using the title of Jin Shiyue's boyfriend outside. He really had to be careful of his image. He couldn't be a fanatical fan demon. He felt sorry for himself for 30 seconds before saying, "Female classmate, thank you for your attention, but I already have a girlfriend." His expression instantly became incomparably serious. He spoke righteously, and a glow of righteousness shone from his body. "I'm a man with a bottom line." His heart was bleeding as he said that. Chapter 456. Happily returning home, Qin Guang felt a sense of accomplishment as he felt his faith points increasing rapidly. Coupled with the delicious supper that Zhuo Jingxi prepared for him, it was needless to say how good his days were. You're not allowed to play games tomorrow. Come to my lab and do some proper work. Although you're not short of money, you can't keep playing, right? Zhuo Jingxi did not know that Qin Guang's gaming was also proper work, so she habitually put on the airs of a teacher. Qin Guang shoved a mouthful of rice into his mouth, then stretched out his perverted hands to take advantage of Zhuo Jingxi. "I know. I've been playing too crazily recently and I'm sick of it. I'll be at the lab tomorrow, so I won't have the courage to play games again in the near future." He was not talking nonsense. After a few days of continuous battles, his nausea that had almost recovered was acting up again today. He reckoned that if he lost 2 more matches, he might not be able to last until the end of the day. As the two were chatting, Qin Guang received a text message on his phone. He was overjoyed when he saw it. It was from Bamboo Culture Little Tsong's live streaming platform. This was not his salary, but the gifts that Qin Guang had received in the past few days. He did not particularly care about this matter. After all, he was aiming for the end of the world and he had to carry 4 legs at the same time. From time to time he would still encounter people watching his live stream. It was quite tiring to play, so he did not have the mood to interact with the bullet screen. In the end, he still could not stop the passionate audience from giving him gifts. In 6 days he had received a total of nearly 500,000 yuan in gifts. Nearly 100,000 yuan a day. He had to thank Little Tsong for giving him so much. Other live streamers had a 40-60 or 50-50 split with their platform, but Qin Guang was the only one who got a full share. All the gifts from the audience belonged to him, and Bamboo Culture Live did not ask for a single cent. The reason was simple. Qin Guang was so generous that he did not even need to sign a 5-year contract with Little Kong. This bit of gift money was just a small matter. He could just treat it as selling a favor to deepen their relationship. Well, this was nothing compared to his net worth of nearly 200 million, but it was still hard-earned money after all, and he felt a great sense of accomplishment. "Look, I'm not slacking off. I've earned 500,000 yuan playing games these few days." Qin Guang happily showed Zhuo Jingxi the text on his phone. He was getting more and more obnoxious. Nonsense, although he couldn't really do anything now, it wouldn't be too much to satisfy his cravings. Zhuo Jingxi blushed and slapped his perverted hand away. "Don't touch me. The doctor said it'll take a month." He couldn't act recklessly. "You're already a millionaire, yet you're still so happy with just 500,000 yuan. Aren't you ashamed?" As she spoke, Zhuo Jingxi got up and ran towards the door. She had no choice but to run. She was really afraid that Qin Guang would ignite their fire. "Remember, I'll call you tomorrow morning." Before leaving, she turned around and reminded him. The next day, when Qin Guang arrived at the laboratory early in the morning, he teased Zhong Yu and Hua Ling Yo, "The Empress's son-in-law is finally willing to grace us with his presence. It's really an honor for us." Zhongyu covered her mouth and laughed. Hua Ling, on the other hand, was helping Qin Guang. Alright, Zhongyu, don't scold him anymore. Didn't you see how sneaky he was when he went upstairs with his sunglasses on? He was afraid of being recognized. It's not easy to be the son-in-law. There's nothing going on between him and Goddess Jean. Zhongyu first looked at Zhuo Jingxi, who was busy with her work, and then looked at Qin Guang meaningfully. From what I see, it's hard to say if Goddess Jean really has feelings for him, but do you dare to say that you're not tempted by our online celebrity Qin? She's helping you put on such an act. I don't believe that she's not interested in you at all. Actually, I don't really believe it either, Hua Ling added. As they were chatting, Luo Jin came in with a stack of books. When he saw Qin Guang, his brows furrowed. Qin Guang didn't have a good impression of this guy and couldn't be bothered with him. He continued to joke with Zhongyu as he mixed the medicine. Aren't you going to spend some alone time with your superstar? What are you doing here in a small fry's laboratory? Luo Jin came up and said sarcastically. Qin Guang instantly became unhappy. The reason why senior sister Zhongyu and senior sister Hua Ling can joke with me is because they're related to me. I know that they're just joking with me. You're saying such a cold thing the moment you come up. Aren't you just talking too much to me? Qin Guang turned to look at him. Do I know you well? Luo Jin's face stiffened. He didn't seem very happy, but then he remembered that Su Lijing and his son had fallen into his hands a few days ago. Now Qin Guang could be considered a villain among villains in the school. Luo Jin was angry, but he didn't dare to show it. Hey Qin Guang, this bottle has been in the greenhouse for too long. I can't open it. Can you help me? At this time, Zhuo Jingxi came over again and intimately stuffed a bottle into Qin Guang's arms. Luo Jin's heart suddenly lost control. He ridiculed, Qin Guang, you'd better stay away from Teacher Zhuo. You already have a girlfriend. Look at my bad temper. Qin Guang put the bottle on the lab table and turned to look at this guy who didn't know what was good for him. Are you asking for a beating? Qin Guang didn't even have time to scold him before Hua Ling flew into a rage. Senior brother Luo, aren't you going too far with your words? Is there something going on between Qin Guang and Teacher Zhuo? Isn't there something going on between them? Hearing Hua Ling say this, Qin Guang and Zhuo Jingxi both blushed a little. They really couldn't be called innocent. Zhongyu also said, that's right. From what senior brother Luo said, it seems like you think that Qin Guang and Teacher Zhuo have some improper relationship. What era is this? Helping to open a bottle is not clear between a man and a woman? Improper relationship. Qin Guang and Zhuo Jingxi rolled their eyes. Whose side are you two on? Why do I feel like you're scolding me indirectly? On the other side, Luo Jin had become the target of public criticism. There was no need to mention how wronged he was. Hua Ling waved her hand. She didn't want to deal with Luo Jin anymore. She casually said, all right, senior brother Luo, we're here to do experiments, not to do those weird things. Just focus on doing experiments and writing papers. That's the right thing to do. Whether Qin Guang is a good person or a bad person, how can we not know? Zhongyu snorted. That's right. That day when Wang Rin bullied Hua Ling, Qin Guang stood up for us. What about you, senior brother Luo? You didn't even dare to fart and came back with your tail between your legs. It's a little unfair for you to be implicated later. But Qin Guang helped settle the matter. Not only did you not say thank you, but you're also acting weird here? You can't be like this. Qin Guang didn't say anything more. He looked down at the phone in Luo Jin's hand. It was a Sony S7. If he remembered correctly, he had seen the review of this model when he was choosing a new phone. The rear camera looked like it had a high resolution, but it was actually flawed. It was very white and easily overexposed. In the post that sold his real identity, Almighty Superman equals Qin Guang equals Jin Shiryua's boyfriend, wasn't there a photo of him walking in school? If he remembered correctly, that photo was indeed a little overexposed and white. Coupled with the fact that this grandson was in a hurry to point out in front of everyone that he was Zhuo Jingxi's boyfriend, it was as if he was afraid that others wouldn't know. Qin Guang said, I seriously suspect that you're the one who set me up. Whether it was this guy or not, he just had to snatch his phone and see if there was an original photo in it. There was no need for Qin Guang to be polite with this person, so Qin Guang immediately snatched Qin Guang's phone. What are you doing? Luo Jin wanted to snatch it back. Qin Guang pressed his left hand against his neck, preventing him from moving. Nothing. Give it back. Give me back my phone. Luo Jin roared. His hands struggled desperately, but it was useless. Their strength was not on the same level at all. Zhuo Jingxi frowned slightly. She felt that Qin Guang was quite abnormal today. Usually he wouldn't be so overbearing. What's wrong? Alright, stop fooling around." She walked over and was about to persuade him, but she looked up and saw Qin Guang holding Luo Jin's phone in his hand. Most of the photos were taken from different angles. There were photos of her when she was reading a book, photos of her concentrating on an experiment, photos of her on her way home, and even photos of her sleeping on her desk in the laboratory. Qin Guang's fingers shook roughly. There were at least 100 photos. Zhuo Jingxi, Zhongyu, and Hua Ling all shouted in their hearts at the same time. "Photo-taking maniac. Pervert." Qin Guang was even more furious. "Damn, how dare you take photos of my woman? Alright, this one. Wasn't this the original photo in the post that exposed the news? I feel that you're the one who set me up. Let's see what you're going to say now." Qin Guang clicked on the original photo that he had taken and glared at Luo Jin fiercely. Zhuo Jingxi and the other two had also seen the post. How could they not understand when they saw the original high-definition photo? "Senior Luo, how could you do this? You're invading other people's privacy." Hua Ling slammed the table. Zhongyu also looked at Luo Jin with extreme disgust. "Have you ever thought about how much trouble this kind of post will cause to the people involved? How could you take photos of other people? Did you get permission from other people before you posted their photos? I used to think that you were a good senior, but now it seems that I was blind." Zhuo Jingxi was also angry. "Luo Jin, you're such a disappointment." Being exposed on the spot, Luo Jin's face turned green and white. The evidence was conclusive and he could not deny it, so he simply did not hide it anymore. "Yes, I did it. So what? You think you're in the right?" Zhuo Jingxi was so angry that she laughed. Luo Jin snorted. "Of course. I'm going to expose Qin Guang, the two-timing Qin Shimmy. Teacher Zhuo, he's cheating on your feelings. What's going on in your head all day long? You're a pervert who hides and secretly takes photos of other people. How dare you talk about Qin Guang?" Hua Ling's fiery temper flared up. Chapter 457. At this moment, an old voice came from the entrance of the laboratory. "What's with the ruckus in the laboratory? Let go of me." The few of them hurriedly looked towards the door and saw old Madame Shu panting with rage. Luo Jin immediately wanted to complain. "Teacher Shu, Qin Guang, shut up. I've been standing here listening for a few minutes. I know everything. Luo Jin, what did you tell me when you took my postgraduate exam? What are you doing now?" Old Madame Shu looked at Luo Jin with a pained expression. "You're not suited to working in this laboratory in your current state. Next semester, no, from tomorrow onwards, you don't have to come to this laboratory anymore." "No." Luo Jin panicked when he saw that he was about to be chased out of the laboratory. "I haven't finished my thesis." Old Madame Shu waved her hand impatiently. "Do you think I'm joking with you? Your thesis will be written in Professor Qin's group next semester. That laboratory is full of guys, so you better not disappoint me again. Otherwise, you can forget about being my postgraduate student. I can't take you on." Luo Jin's face stiffened as he looked unwillingly at Zhuo Jingxi and then at the determined old Madame Shu before leaving with his head hung low. The matter was exposed by Qin Guang. If it was in the past, he might have dared to say some harsh words to Qin Guang. But now he didn't dare. He regretted that he wouldn't have teased Qin Guang if he knew this would happen. He simply couldn't understand how Qin Guang had guessed his intentions. That thesis had been written with such care and effort. There couldn't be any flaws. Why was it like this? After Luo Jin was chased away, the laboratory quieted down. Old Madame Shu restrained her anger and her expression brightened. She smiled at Qin Guang. "You did well. Cai Su Lijing's death is a bit of a pity. He brought it upon himself." Hua Ling said. Old Lady Shu nodded. "Indeed, a pitiful person must have a hateful side. He connived with Wang Ren's evil deeds, so he deserves this calamity. If he is allowed to escape this calamity, who knows, more people will suffer in the future." "I heard that Deputy Dean Deng has been transferred to the Administrative and Logistics Department? Dean Tong has also been dismissed?" Zhongyu asked. Old Madame Shu nodded with a smile. "Xiao Deng deserves it. Wang Ren has been messing around with the things that he did in the Jinhuang College all these years. He didn't have any academic achievements to begin with, so he was sent to the Logistics Department to be the deputy chief. He didn't even have a proper position. As for Little Yang, he's not a good person. It's better not to let him manage the administration. Little Han has been promoted. He has done a great service this time. Evil had its retribution." Everyone was overjoyed. Vice Principal Han's reputation in the academy had always been good, and she was indeed a responsible and good leader. She had been suppressed by Tong and Deng for the past few years, but in any case she had been a daughter-in-law for many years. "Oh right, Xiaozhua, didn't I talk to the University of California laboratory about you last time?" My old classmate replied and said that you can go anytime. Zhuo Jingxi was slightly moved, but she glanced at Qin Guang, who was looking at her eagerly. "I'm not going. Isn't everything fine now?" Unexpectedly, old Madame Xu said, "Originally, I only wanted you to be an assistant. It doesn't really matter if you go or not, but they are very satisfied with your resume. Coincidentally, one of their team leaders resigned recently. They hope that you can go over and take over that team leader's position. You can still lead the team there." Going over to be an assistant and leading a research team was completely different. Although there was only a small difference in status between the two, the academic level that they could come into contact with was like heaven and earth. Whether it was to gain experience or to learn real things, being the team leader of a large laboratory was the best training opportunity. It was undeniable that Zhuo Jingxi was moved. "This, Teacher Xu." Zhuo Jingxi hesitated. Old Madame Xu was anxious. "What are you hesitating for? It's such a good opportunity. If you miss it, you won't encounter such a good opportunity again. Their laboratory is more advanced than ours. Even if you go there to observe and learn for 2 years, you will be able to come into contact with more advanced international theories. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." Qin Guang felt like he was about to explode. Hey, what the hell is this? After toppling Su Lijing, he did not even think about Zhuo Jingxi going abroad because he felt that there was no need for it. But how did this turn of events happen again? "I know that you are reluctant to part with Hualing and Zhongyu. How about this? I will make the decision in the second half of the semester and arrange for the two of them to go to Little Yang's laboratory." Old Madame Xu said again. The Little Yang she was talking about was the other team leader in the photocatalyst laboratory. He was not a PhD student like Zhuo Jingxi, but a solid postdoctoral student. He was already a little famous in the field of knowledge and had done more research than Zhuo Jingxi. If they could change to that laboratory, it would be equivalent to a promotion for Hualing and Zhongyu. Zhuo Jingxi felt extremely embarrassed. How could I say it? Actually, what I really care about is my man Qin Guang. But being a scholar was her lifelong dream. Originally, she thought that the cruel test of career and love would not come so soon. After all, Qin Guang was also a student of Gokyo University. But suddenly this matter was thrown in front of her, leaving her defenseless. Finally, she gritted her teeth. "Teacher Xu, Teacher Zhuo, you go?" "This is really a good opportunity," Qin Guang suddenly said. He finally understood. Just as old Madame Xu said, going to Big Yang meant that Zhuo Jingxi was a step closer to her dream. Although he felt that it was super cheating, he could not be so selfish. Of course, he remembered Zhuo Jingxi's eyes full of longing and desire when she talked about the great prospects of photocatalysis. The Zhuo Jingxi who was a scholar and the Zhuo Jingxi in her daily life were not the same person at all. She was so fanatical, so persistent. But even so, she wanted to give up this opportunity for him. It was impossible for Qin Guang to say that he was not touched. But as a man, he could not be a stumbling block for her. After feeling sorry for himself for 10 seconds, Qin Guang said with a smile, "It's just 2 years. When Teacher Zhuo comes back, our school is still counting on you to take over Teacher Xu's class. It's quite convenient to take a plane now. When you have time, fly back a few times to visit us. It's not bad." Old Madame Xu also said with a smile, "That's right. When the time comes, I will really have to retire. Although you entered the school not early among the group leaders, you are indeed very talented. In fact, Little Qin and Little Yang are very tempted, but Big Yang is more optimistic about you. I'm also more optimistic about you." Zhuo Jingxi looked at Qin Guang again, then, "Okay. That's right. Little Zhuo, I know that your family is not very well off. For this kind of private academic training, the laboratory will give you a certain amount of compensation, but it shouldn't be too high. How about this? I still have some savings here." Old Madame Xu had clearly considered this matter very maturely. Zhuo Jingxi shook her head and said, "No need, Teacher Xu. I have money here." As she said this, her eyes secretly drifted to Qin Guang. The two had a tacit understanding. Qin Guang smiled happily. "Teacher Xu, you worry too much. Teacher Zhuo doesn't lack money. And not lacking money. Sponsor. Full. Money should be spent where it is needed. This is my blade. Alright, but don't force yourself. If you have any difficulties, feel free to tell me. I found an acquaintance to cut the queue for the interview. Big Yang will also communicate with the embassy. Hurry up and get the visa tomorrow. Try to leave within a week." Old Madame Xu said a few more words and left. Standing to the side, Hualing and Zhongyu were envious. At the same time they felt happy for Zhuo Jingxi. But when they saw how Qin Guang and Zhuo Jingxi were exchanging glances, they felt that there was a lot of knowledge involved. After a busy day in the laboratory, Qin Guang saw that it was almost 5 in the afternoon. He said goodbye to everyone and slipped away, feeling somewhat dejected as he returned to his rented apartment. Although he had previously crossed that hurdle in his heart, he had only been embarrassed once. The doctor's order hadn't even been fulfilled in a month, and this person was about to fly across the sea. Don't look at my dignified appearance. In fact, I'm so disappointed that I want to hang myself, okay? At this time he received a super wonderful phone call. Brother, I won't be coming back tonight. 7th High's cram school has started, so I'll be staying at 7th High. Ever since the upheaval in the family, Fan Lingshan's growth and changes were drastic. She became extremely independent. She didn't even tell Qin Guang that she was going to 7th High's registration. Today she went to school alone to settle the matter of repeating her 3rd year of high school. Of course, she could only listen in at 7th High's classes. When it was time for the college entrance examination, she would probably have to return to Southeast Province. This good little sister is finally not coming back. Qin Guang was moved to tears. Is this the last dinner that God wants to give me? Study well. Study seriously. Strive to get high marks. Our Gokyo University's medical department is very good. If you don't get into the top 5 clinical medicine majors, don't come back. Qin Guang said, then hung up the phone with a bang and jumped 3 feet high. Then he instantly fell back into a state of depression. There was still a long way to go before the 1-month deadline. I can't die in peace. Lying on the bed, he didn't even have the mood to eat dinner. Ignore me, everyone. I just want to be quiet now. Don't ask me who Jing Jing is. My Jing Jing is going to America. He really fell asleep. Wake up and eat. Sleepyhead. This was Zhuo Jingxi's voice, and a strong aroma came from the living room. This is your parting dinner, right? I'm not eating anymore. Go to the ends of the earth. Leave me alone in this cold room and die alone. Qin Guang waved his hand so righteous. Zhuo Jingxi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why didn't I see you so weak before? This isn't the Qin Guang I know who dares to go against anyone. That's a different matter. Today my heart is like tofu. I'll break into pieces with one touch. Qin Guang howled again, then continued to pretend to sleep. Chapter 458. Oh, by the way, the 500,000 I earned yesterday has been transferred to your account. Don't rent a house in the poor areas in America. I heard that it's very chaotic there. Just rent a high-end apartment or even a villa. Anyway, earning money is like playing a game to me. Everything can be saved, but money can't be saved. What else can I save if not money? You can save your life if you don't save money. Recently, the internet has been reporting about how international students are doing overseas. I'm not by your side, so I'm feeling anxious. Alright, I'll listen to you. He didn't lack money. Qin Guang was right. He estimated that by the end of the month, the traffic from his Weibo account would be no less than 1 million. If he really didn't have enough money, what a joke. Although Lioli's big business deal hasn't been finalized yet, I'm the boss of a big company with a market value of more than 100 million, okay? Zhuo Jingxi leaned over to his bedside and kissed him hard on the cheek. Alright, don't be sad. We're still young and have a long way to go. Alright, I'll get up later to eat. I'm really not in the mood right now. I get it. You must think that the maintenance fee is too expensive. I only slept with you for a night, and you spent 500,000 yuan. Even a normal celebrity can't reach my net worth. Zhuo Jingxi laughed again. Speaking of which, Qin Guang's heart hurt even more when she said that. Actually, Qin Guang knew that she was joking. If she was really that kind of woman, she wouldn't have gone to find someone else to support her. Just marrying Zhou Long alone would have cost more than a few million. She had already decided that she was going to marry Qin Guang, which was why she was willing to accept his sponsorship. Perhaps she wasn't qualified to marry him, but Zhuo Jingxi had already treated him and her as a real family. How about this, you get up and eat first. Then you lie down and don't move and I'll try it myself? Actually, what the doctor said might not be entirely correct. I haven't felt anything strange since 2 days ago. Maybe it'll work if we slow down a little? Zhuo Jingxi gently moved her mouth to Qin Guang's ear again, her hot breath blowing into his ear. Qin Guang sat up straight. Alright. It's decided then. There were some things that one had to believe in. Oh my god. No way. I can't take it anymore. Zhuo Jingxi was sprawled on the bed, sweating profusely. Her entire body was trembling violently as if she had epilepsy. Her smooth, jade-like back was covered with beads of perspiration. Her perky buttocks were moving up and down, and her entire body was curled up like a poodle that had been beaten. She was also gasping for breath when she spoke, unable to catch her breath. Qin Guang turned his body and looked at her feeble appearance. Those who don't know would think that I tortured you for a long time. In fact, it didn't even take 3 seconds. Not bad compared to the last time. This time it was a qualitative improvement. From 0.5 seconds to 3 seconds, it was a net increase of 6 times. It would take years for the GDP to catch up to this speed. But what was the use of 3 seconds? I was lying on the bed and didn't dare to move, so I let her sit on the bed by herself. But why did the pile driver completely lose control when the two of them really came into contact? This terrifying vibration, which came with its own power and didn't need to be recharged, almost shook the bed. Stop talking, let me take a breather. Oh my god, I'm cramping. My stomach is cramping. Zhuo Jingxi really didn't have any strength left. Qin Guang slapped her buttocks. Why are you so weak? Zhuo Jingxi panted heavily for a few minutes. Can you blame me for this? Where's your little electric motor? No, it's like a high-pressure submachine gun. I'm not coming anymore. Anyway, I'm not coming anymore. Oh my god, it's so torturous. She looked down and saw that he was still glaring at her angrily as if he wanted to eat her up. Zhuo Jingxi shrank to the side of the bed. Don't come anymore, really don't come anymore, or else I'll have to be hospitalized again. Ouch. She fell off the bed in shock with a thud. Qin Guang was dumbfounded. They were having a good time together, so how did they end up like this? Why is my life so bitter? He couldn't help but ask the heavens and the earth. Why don't you try tying a rope around my waist to the bed? After pulling the naked teacher Zhuo onto the bed, Qin Guang didn't give up and asked again. Zhuo Jingxi shook her head like a rattle drum and quickly pulled the quilt over to cover her body. Don't joke around. This is too much. I might really have to wait for a month. My stomach feels like it's been stirred by sh*t stick. Oh no, it's like it's been stirred by something. It's sour. Then what do you think I should do in this situation? Qin Guang straightened his back. What should I do? I'm lying on the bed now. You can poke a hole in the bed. So you were the one who poked the hole last time. Zhuo Jingxi was shocked. I thought there was a mouse in the house. Qin Guang's face was bitter. Although I don't really want to admit it, I was the one who poked the hole. Zhuo Jingxi took a few deep breaths and wanted to slip away from the bed again. After a long while, she felt embarrassed by Qin Guang's green eyes. She put on a long face and said, You really can't blame me for this, right? You're really too amazing. Give me some more time. I think I'll have to practice more. I can't take it, I really can't. Qin Guang sighed and lay on his back next to her. The cold wind blew in from outside and blew on a certain damp thing that was standing upright. It was cool, but his heart was burning. How about I use my hands? 2 hours later, Zhuo Jingxi started acting shamelessly. I don't care. You think of a way yourself. Don't torture me. I still have an interview tomorrow morning. I'm going to sleep first. I'm no longer a bachelor. I have a woman. How blissful is this? But the strongest spear and the strongest shield are all me. My woman is just a cover. Nice to look at, but useless. No, it should be because I'm too strong. I regret it so much. I used to watch Japanese movies that envied the power of others for half an hour. Only now do I realize that I'm too strong in this aspect. It's not a blessing at all. I raised my hands and silently looked at the strongest pair of arms in history, as well as the strongest pile driver in history below my waist. After all this time, I'm still a magician who has to rely on his own strength. Please allow me to make a sad expression. No one can understand the sorrow in my heart. 4 days later, Zhuo Jingxi flew away. Qin Guang was lying at home alone. As the owner of the Heavenly Holy Grail and an internet celebrity, he actually got bored. So empty, so lonely, so down and out. On this summer vacation, when the young and the yellow were not coming in, he actually lost his life goal. What should I do? Play games? I was on the verge of vomiting blood a few days ago. I'd better save it. Lioli's company still hadn't made any moves. It wasn't strange. After all, how could the handover of a company worth more than 100 million be settled so quickly? Or maybe I should record a dart-throwing video and post it online to gain more popularity. This seemed to be a good idea. However, I've already posted 2 dart-throwing videos before, and the statue of God hasn't made any moves yet. This meant that the power of promoting it on Weibo alone was probably not enough to gain enough recognition. So it's better not to do this. What? Someone said that it's a statue of God with Qilin arms and a pile driver? What's that? Did I learn it before? I don't remember it all. I suffer from a type of selective amnesia. I can't remember what those two annoying things are at all. I took out my phone out of boredom. According to international practice, I first checked WeChat. Last time, I felt that Jiang Yage was shifty-eyed during the video call. I clicked on it and saw that she had indeed sent dozens of messages. You tricked me. That's right. Jiang Yage posted photos again. The scale was slightly larger than the last time. A few of them seemed to have been taken when she woke up in the morning. Behind the floor-to-ceiling window was a round red sun. Jiang Yage was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window wearing only a pair of light white shorts. Her upper body was bare. The camera seemed to have been set up somewhere for a time-lapse. It captured every detail of her dainty body. However, she still used the nebula on her face. But Chen Guang could tell at a glance that it was her. Then she took the camera in her hand and took 2 pictures from the neck down. In the photo there was a beautiful M line and more. Buddha said, I can't say it, I can't say it. That figure, that skin, it was simply too explosive. Chen Guang scolded Jiang Yage for tricking him as he flipped through the photos happily. People's hearts aren't what they used to be, and public morals are getting worse day by day. Young people nowadays are really too indiscreet. After looking through them, he replied, Okay. Please keep up the good work. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yage replied immediately, Okay. Damn. She's really there? I'm just joking. Chen Guang quickly wanted to type another message, but it was too late. Jiang Yage had already sent another photo. She seemed to be lying on the bed with one hand fiddling with her pants. She pulled her pants down a little and then the camera took a photo from above. At the bottom of her flat abdomen, a small tuft of black hair could be vaguely seen. Chen Guang hurriedly said, That's enough. That's enough. Jiang Yage replied with a voice message. There's no more. Sister Shirihua is coming over. We have to go to a promotional event. Oh right, tomorrow is the premiere of Tears for Rivers and Mountains. It should be showing at the same time in the 5 capitals. Remember to watch it. With that, Jiang Yage went silent. Tears for Rivers and Mountains? Chen Guang thought for a while and recalled. Wasn't this the movie in which he had a small role? After waiting for a long time, it was finally going to be released. As one of the main cast members, how could he not watch the premiere? That's right, he shamelessly regarded himself as the main cast member. Of course I'm important. Without me, the 2 female leads would have died and this movie would be gone, okay? Who could be more important than me? He opened the class's QQ group to take a look. The group's current topics were focused on 2 points. One was the movie's release and the other was, of course, the legend of the generation's popular online master. Chapter 459. Inexplicably, Chen Guang, who everyone saw every day, had become the boyfriend of the national idol. This was like an earthquake to the entire class. Fortunately, the 3 guys in the dorm explained that things weren't what they seemed to be. The 2 were only boyfriend and girlfriend in name and there was nothing going on between them. That was why the class didn't make a fuss. Instead, they were secretly happy that they had found out a big secret. These people looked at the noisy and boisterous outside and the shocked appearance of the whole country. They even felt a sense of pleasure as if they were the only sober person in the world. But recently, Chen Guang had made a big fuss on the internet, and he had been interacting with Jean Shirihua a little too much. This gave everyone an idea. What was fake could be real and what was real could be fake. Could these 2 really have that kind of relationship? Do you guys think Goddess Jean really fell in love with our brother Guang just because he turned into Underwear Superman and saved her? A guy in the class said from the bottom of his heart. Gaoya nodded. Of course. Then this guy who wanted to see the world in chaos even tagged Sun Xiaoxuan. However, Sun Xiaoxuan was jet-lagged and it was early in the morning. All of a sudden, Chen Guang spoke up. Would you guys believe me if I said that it's fake? Just look at you. I'd believe you even if you were a small-time celebrity. To be honest, brother Guang. I've learned a new phrase recently. It's called the difference between clouds and mud. Spitting on the ground, Chen Guang responded, Then what are you guys chewing on? Lin Jingwei popped up. Gaoya. I'll wait for you at Wangfujing tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's the premiere of Jiang Shan, and it's in the middle of the 4th row. Gaoya laughed. Wow, good job, Lin. I also got a ticket for the premiere. It's crazy here in Denghai. Luckily, I booked the tickets half a month in advance. Another guy popped up. Guys, give me your blessings. I've got a date with the prettiest girl in my high school. It's either succeed or die trying. Seeing that the class was so lively, Chen Guang said faintly, I support domestic movies, I support Tears for Rivers and Mountains, and I support the rising actor Qin Guang. That's right, I'm the handsome and domineering deputy general who will appear in the film for about an hour. I'm your most handsome brother Guang. F***CK. Damn you. We agreed to go to the set together. But you secretly became a deputy general. Xiong'er, who had been lurking, popped his head up. Bai Nyangzi added, beast? Scum. Bastard. Gao Ya, at Shaosun, don't ever go back to China. This guy is too unreliable. Lin Jingwei, my dear wife is right. Qin Guang said, you're such a shameless couple. Perhaps because Gao Ya kept tagging Sun Xiaoxuan, she finally popped up. Don't say that. Qin Guang is only going to be a cameo. How can a cameo lead a tour? You guys are too much. Only the opposite sex. Gao Ya complained again. Actually, she and Lin Jingwei were in no position to say that. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. I'm sleepy. I'm going back to sleep, Sun Xiaoxuan replied and went silent. Qin Guang quietly closed QQ, a touch of sadness in his heart. Tears for Rivers and Mountains had been building momentum for a while. It was known as this year's big production of a domestic martial arts film, and the cast was luxurious enough. Whether it was the director, Big Beard Deng, the male and female leads, or even the Hollywood post-production team, they were all well known in the industry. Ordinary people had no hope of getting tickets to the premiere one day in advance. But this wasn't a problem for Qin Guang, because Xiaochong's family was the boss of Qinda Pictures. Not to mention the premiere, even if he wanted a dozen VIP tickets, as long as there were still some left, he would be able to watch it. The tickets weren't a problem, but the problem was the person accompanying him to watch the movie. Teacher Zhua and Sun Xiaoxuan were abroad, his sister Fan Lingshan was living in school, Wu Tong was in Yanjing, Wenwen was nowhere to be found, Lu Fei was in Denghai for a meeting, and Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage could forget about it. Why am I so unlucky? I want to find someone to watch a movie with me, but I don't even have a suitable companion. I really want you to watch a movie and then suddenly see my handsome face on the big screen. Then look at me with a pale face. Wow, it's you, Qin Guang. Think about that scene, how pleasantly surprised, how much I look forward to it. But I don't have a suitable companion. I can't possibly go to a dangerous place like the movie theater alone. I don't want to be killed by those scumbags in the movie theater. Zai, what should I do? This feeling was like casting pearls before swine. I want to act cool, but it's like I'm a playboy who has mistakenly entered a monk's temple, with nowhere to start and nowhere to act cool. At this moment his phone suddenly rang. He picked it up and saw that it was Tang Ying. Why is she calling me? Accompany me to watch a movie tomorrow, do you have time? Tang Ying's first sentence made Qin Guang overjoyed. Do we have a telepathic connection? I'm having a hard time because I don't have anyone to accompany me, and you actually took the initiative to call me. Of course. Do you need me to get the tickets? Qin Guang asked. Unexpectedly, Tang Ying thought for a moment and said, no need, I've already bought the tickets. Wait at the entrance of the hospital at 12:30. Have lunch first, then go to the movie theater. After hanging up, Qin Guang began to wonder how busy a doctor was. Needless to say, Tang Ying was obviously not the kind of person who had nothing better to do. So, although Qin Guang had thought of many people, Tang Ying was the only one he hadn't considered. Is there a deeper meaning to her asking me to watch a movie? Forget it, I won't think about it if I can't figure it out. On the other end, Tang Ying was on the phone with Wu Tong. Alright, I don't know what you're worried about. Is there really something going on between Jin Shirui and him? I'm just feeling uneasy. He already explained it to you, yet you're still uneasy? Aren't you thinking too highly of him? What's this called? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just because you think he's good, you think others will fall in love with him. Isn't that nonsense? Alright, my good sister. Anyway, you just have to test him a little. Don't let him find out that I asked you to look for him. Wu Tong hurriedly said a few words. Alright, I only have a minute to talk to him. I'll be leaving first. I'll leave it to you. Tang Ying looked at her phone, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. She muttered to herself, I don't even know what you're worried about. She looked down at her watch, got up, and walked to the door of the office, only to see a man in a white suit standing at the door with his brows slightly furrowed. The man did not seem to notice the displeasure in her expression at all. He handed her a bouquet of flowers. I just saw a little girl selling flowers at the entrance of the hospital. She seemed to be working hard. She just bought a bouquet of lilies. I think this flower language suits you quite well. Shall I put it on your desk? As he said that, he walked straight in, looking like he was very familiar with Tang Ying. Tang Ying stopped him with her hand. Mr. Song, I've told you many times. This is my workplace. If you have anything to say, please talk to me when I'm off work. Don't disturb my work. Mr. Song looked a little awkward. Isn't it just a coincidence? Don't do it again. Don't do it again. I don't want the flowers. Mr. Song, since you're here, please make it short. A busy person like you wouldn't come to me for no reason. Tang Ying put on a straight face and put her hands in the pockets of her white coat. This Song Ningyuan had come to see her more than once in the past few days. Tang Ying was really annoyed and her attitude was not very good. Song Ningyuan did not mind. He just put the flowers behind his back and took out 2 movie tickets from his pocket. Miss Tang, do you have time to go to the movies with me? It's the premiere of Tears Will Run for Rivers tomorrow afternoon. It's not easy to get these tickets. Tang Ying turned to leave. Sorry, we doctors are too busy. I really don't have the heart to go to the movies. After saying that, she rushed into the inpatient ward. Obviously, she did not want to waste any more time with Song Ningyuan. The 2 nurses in the doctor's office who had listened to Tang Ying's phone calls from beginning to end couldn't help but cover their mouths and laugh when they saw this scene. Song Ningyuan's whole body froze. He really did not know whether to leave or stay. He glared at the 2 nurses fiercely. What are you laughing at? Is this funny? Song Ningyuan stuffed the whole bouquet of lilies into the trash can and walked away with a livid face. He was also puzzled. What on earth was Tang Ying thinking? They were considered to be well matched in terms of social status. She was not young anymore. She couldn't possibly stay single until she was 30. Why did she have to be so cold and distant? What the hell? Why did I fall for such a difficult woman? After Song Ningyuan walked far away, the nurse who had shouted at him rolled her eyes and said disdainfully, with that bad temper of his, how could he pursue Dr. Tang? I won't be able to do it even if you beat me to death. That's right. Isn't he just rich? He dresses like a dog, but he doesn't even know how to speak. He says one thing in front of people and another thing behind their backs. Let's go back and tell Dr. Tang about how he behaved just now. The next morning, Qin Guang did not give up. He uploaded a darts video to Weibo and drove to the city at around 11 o'clock. He whistled and listened to music. The past few days had been tiring enough. It was rare for him to have a chance to relax and live a simple life. It was not bad. Qin Guang began to look forward to it in his heart. Isn't that you? Yes, that's right. What do you think of my acting skills? Don't I look like an Oscar winner? Amazing, amazing. You've really hidden your skills well. Qin Guang fantasized about it in his mind. Tang Ying slammed her chopsticks down. You've been sitting there laughing like an idiot for almost 5 minutes. The waiter is about to call 120. Come back to your senses. The food is going to get cold if you don't eat now. Qin Guang hurriedly ate his rice. He thought to himself, don't get too full of yourself. You'll be shocked later. I say, why are you wearing sunglasses all day? Pretending to be blind so that you can set the table whenever you want? Tang Ying complained again. Qin Guang mumbled, you don't understand. I'm a celebrity now. I don't dare to let people recognize me. Save it. I'm willing to bet 10 yuan that if you take off your sunglasses and shout, I'm Qin Guang, no one will recognize you. Do you really think that everyone in the country has nothing better to do than to browse Weibo all day? Even if you're a superstar, you might not be recognized in the countryside. Qin Guang threw his chopsticks aside. Can't you at least let me have a taste of being a celebrity? All right. Let's eat. Hurry up and eat. The 2 arrived at the cinema on time. Tang Ying looked at Song Ningyuan, who was dressed in a white suit, and cursed in her heart. Am I committing a sin or what? Why am I so unlucky? There are dozens of cinemas in the 5 capitals. How did I and Song Ningyuan get to attend the same premiere? I'll be damned if I believe you. Chapter 460. Song Ningyuan first looked at Tang Ying, who looked a little embarrassed, and then looked at Qin Guang, who was standing next to her with sunglasses on. His brows knitted into a dead knot. Although he couldn't see Qin Guang's face through the sunglasses, Song Ningyuan kept his guard up against this 8-meter-tall young man. He was most likely a rival in love. Taking a few deep breaths to calm himself down, Song Ningyuan forced a smile on his face. Miss Tang, didn't you say you didn't have time to watch a movie? Tang Ying also felt a headache coming on. She thought to herself, why is this person so insensible? I was giving you a way out, but you still took advantage of me? How could I have known that I would bump into you again? Do you really want me to fall out with you? Tang Ying took a step back and pulled on Qin Guang's sleeve. She forced a smile and said, I didn't plan to come before, but I changed my mind. As she spoke, she secretly pinched Qin Guang's arm. Qin Guang was in pain from Tang Ying's pinch. Looking at her winking at him, and then looking at Song Ningyuan's angry but calm attitude, he understood. Alright, my sideline has arrived again. I'm a professional fly swatter and I'm very accurate. Should I open a shield agency in the future and take on the business of swatting flies from all kinds of beauties? Don't let the fee be too low. Every time I swatted a fly I'll definitely make enemies. With such a big loss, I should at least charge 170,000 to 180,000, right? Although he was complaining in his heart, he didn't slow down at all. He took a step forward, put his arm around Tang Ying's shoulder, and stood between Tang Ying and Song Ningyuan. The corners of his mouth curled up, and he said somewhat mischievously, Mister, some words don't need to be so obvious, right? It's not that little Ying doesn't have time to watch a movie, but she doesn't have time to watch it with you. She'll be free if she's with me. Who are you? A strange flush appeared on Song Ningyuan's face. It was obvious that he was a little angry. There are over 1 billion people in China, and there are plenty of people that you don't know. I don't have the mood to know you, so you don't have to bother about who I am. Qin Guang grinned as he hugged Tang Ying from the back. Song Ningyuan reached out to grab Qin Guang's shoulder. However, it was as if Qin Guang had eyes in the back of his head. He raised his hand and slapped him on the arm, causing him to shrink back in pain. By the time Song came back to his senses, Qin Guang and Tang Ying had already disappeared into the crowd. Song Ningyuan was so angry that he stomped his feet. At this moment, a fashionably dressed and beautiful woman jogged over from afar. Brother Ningyuan, I'm sorry. It took me a little longer to dress up. I'm sorry for making you wait. Get lost. Song Ningyuan's heart was filled with anger, but he couldn't find a target to vent it on. This woman could be considered to have bumped into the muzzle of his gun. Huh. The woman's face was full of grievance and confusion. Song Ningyuan pointed into the distance. I told you to get lost. Didn't you hear me? He already hated this woman. If he hadn't waited for her outside for a while, he wouldn't have bumped into Tang Ying and that man. The woman ran away with her tail between her legs. She couldn't afford to offend Song Ningyuan, so she could only admit that she was unlucky. Song Ningyuan gritted his teeth. You bastard with sunglasses, don't let me find out who you are. He wanted to turn around and leave, but he was unwilling to do so. He rolled his eyes and walked back into the cinema. Inside, Qin Guang and Tang Ying had already found their VIP seats. Say, big sister Tang Ying, you didn't call me here to be your shield, right? Qin Guang said in a half-joking, half-serious tone. Tang Ying rolled her eyes at him. What kind of sin have I committed? I'm obviously helping Wu Tong interrogate you, but you're the one who's blocking the flies for me. Even if I'm looking for a shield, I should at least look for a mature and successful person, okay? Qin Guang didn't agree. You're taking advantage of me, but you're pretending to be innocent. If you really don't like me, why don't you expose me just now? Tang Ying stuffed a box of popcorn into his hands. Take it as my thanks, okay? The movie is about to start. Why don't you take off your sunglasses? No. The lights are still on. I'll take them off when the movie starts. Qin Guang shook his head quickly. Tang Ying glared at him, grabbed a handful of popcorn from his lap, and stuffed it into her mouth. Aren't you tired? You and Jean Shirue aren't really in that kind of relationship. Why don't you just go and deny it? You didn't take advantage of her, but you got yourself into trouble. Isn't that a loss? Qin Guang sighed. I'm a little tired, but I can't help it. Didn't I tell you before? When others saw me in trouble, they helped me out. You can't just tear me down now that I'm fine, right? Think about it. She's a big shot. She can just shout to the public that she's in love. Then the whole country was shocked. Oh my God, you're still so young. Goddess, don't abandon us. Then the goddess said, No. This is my true love. Please give me your blessings. Then the countless fans of others finally accepted this cruel reality. When their hearts turned around, you suddenly jumped out and said, I've broken up with you. Please continue to give me your blessings. Tell me, as this celebrity's fan, or even if you're just a passerby, what do you think? Qin Guang asked. Tang Ying pondered for a moment. I definitely think that this celebrity is an idiot. Hey, why are you scolding me? Isn't that what you asked me? That's what I think in my heart. Other celebrities hide their marriage certificates even if they're already married. They have nothing better to do than to fall in love and break up as fast as they can. Are they playing house? Since it's true love, how can it be so easy to break up? Qin Guang shrugged. Isn't that enough? So I'll just endure it for now. I reckon that I'll become a celebrity soon. Tang Ying stomped on his foot angrily. Do you really think that celebrities are freeloaders? Others spend 10 years of hard work for a minute on stage. What kind of talent do you have? And you call yourself a celebrity? You can't possibly go into the entertainment industry as a celebrity's boyfriend, can you? You have to have your own goods first, right? Are you looking down on me? Don't I know how to play the piano? Qin Guang argued. Tang Ying chuckled. To be honest, I've seen that video of yours. The music you play isn't that nice. It sounds like ghosts wailing and wolves howling. What do you know? It's called the world's 10 most difficult songs. It doesn't matter if it's nice or not. The important thing is that it's hard to play. If you don't understand, then you don't know what's good about it. I don't care. Anyway, as an ordinary listener, I only have one standard for judging music. Nice or not nice. I can't be a fan of a pianist like you. You'd better focus on your studies and stop thinking about all that nonsense. Qin Guang curled his lips. He couldn't be bothered to argue with her anymore. It's better if you look down on me now. When Brother Air's acting comes out in the film, won't you be scared to death? What a coincidence, Miss Tang. You're sitting here too? As the two of them were chatting, a white silhouette walked over from the side and sat down beside Tang Ying, smiling at her. Qin Guang and Tang Ying's jaws dropped. This guy was a little too thick-skinned. This is the VIP area on the second floor. There are at least 200 to 300 seats, but you're sitting right next to Tang Ying. Isn't it too much of a coincidence? If I remember correctly, there were 2 people who sat here for a short while before they were called away. Now it's you instead. Song Ning Yuan sat down. He finally understood. Although Tang Ying and this guy seemed to be close, as long as they weren't married, he still had a chance. He couldn't give up so easily. I, Song Ning Yuan, can't even compete with a pretty boy? I'm going to sit here shamelessly today. What can you do to me? Just as he was secretly proud of his courage, Tang Ying suddenly stood up and said to Qin Guang, "Let's switch seats." Can you not be like this? Song Ning Yuan watched helplessly as Qin Guang and Tang Ying switched seats. The situation was really awkward. Tang Ying was really not giving him any face at all. Hearing those words, Qin Guang nearly burst out laughing. This brother of his was truly pitiful. Say, you couldn't have bought those seats, right? Do you want to switch seats over there? Song Ning Yuan's face darkened. Don't hit me in the face. You're a little lacking in manners, aren't you? Young Master Song did not expect that if Qin Guang and Tang Ying were really in a relationship, he would have gone overboard by trying to poach Qin Guang in front of everyone. Tang Ying tugged at him. That's enough. Don't talk too much. Although Tang Ying was not afraid of Song Ning Yuan, she did not want Qin Guang to put in too much effort. She would feel bad if she made an enemy out of nothing. Qin Guang, on the other hand, curled his lips indifferently. There was no need to worry about it. After a few seconds, the lights in the hall finally dimmed. The movie was about to start. Only then did Qin Guang take off his sunglasses. Song Ning Yuan stole a glance at Qin Guang's side profile, trying to memorize his face. However, the lights in the theater were too dim, and he couldn't take a good look at Qin Guang's face. Tears for Rivers and Mountains was a good movie. The plot was intertwined and the characters were vivid and deep. The scenes were beautiful and there was no lack of fist-to-flesh fighting. Fu Hua was also very sincere, perfectly recreating the charm of the medieval dynasty. When it came to making movies, Big Beard Deng had a good foundation. In recent years, he could be considered a famous director in the country who had a good combination of business and art. Otherwise, the audience would not have been so receptive to the movie, and the premiere was so popular. Tang Ying also liked to watch movies to pass the time. When she was studying abroad alone, one of the few entertainment activities she had was watching domestic movies and TV series. She was much more familiar with domestic actors and stars than Qin Guang, who was an insider. The performances of the left and right hands were consistent and steady, and there was no lack of eye-catching parts. The two of them were young, but they debuted early. If it weren't for their good looks, which overshadowed their acting skills, the two of them would have been recognized as veteran actors long ago. Tang Ying was also in high spirits. The seats in the VIP area were not that crowded, and a little talk would not disturb others. She also made a habit of commenting on the movie in a low voice. Jin Shiriwei and Jiang Ye's acting skills are really good. Look at their micro-expressions. Hidden under the angry surface is a hint of joy. They're so good at acting. Big Beard Deng really knows how to choose the actors. Even a small supporting role is so good. Zhou Ye's acting skills are quite good. He plays the strategist well. Wise, calm, and treacherous. Chapter 461. His ears were ringing and Qin Guang felt a little uncomfortable. Big sis, I see that you're quite a decent person. Usually you're very knowledgeable and polite. Why are you so talkative when you're watching a movie? Can't you let me enjoy the movie? A true gentleman does not speak when watching a movie. Manners. Manners. Suddenly, Song Ningyuan, who was sitting next to Qin Guang, leaned over and said to Tang Ying through Qin Guang, I'm quite familiar with Zhou Ye. Look, he sent me a text a few days ago, asking me to treat him to a drink some other day. Miss Tang, if you're interested, I can. Tang Ying sat up straight and stared at the big screen. Don't make a ruckus when you're watching a movie. You're disturbing the others. Zhou Ye's acting skills aren't that great either. He keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. There's no breakthrough at all. Qin Guang and Song Ningyuan were dumbfounded. Your change in attitude is too drastic. Song Ningyuan felt like vomiting blood. You were having a heated discussion with someone else, and now you're denying everything with just one word. Qin Guang secretly gave Song Ningyuan a thumbs up. Bro, you did a good job. If you hadn't done that, who knows how long I'd have to endure her torture. He began to count the time in his heart, watching as the battle scene that he was about to appear in drew closer and closer. Finally, as the long horn sounded, the scene of the two armies facing off suddenly popped up on the screen. The camera zoomed in, and the image of Qin Guang's golden-armored deputy general appeared on the screen. Tang Ying didn't recognize him at first, but as the scene zoomed in, the suspicion in her heart grew. Finally, she couldn't help but let out a soft cry of surprise and turned to look at Qin Guang in surprise. Qin Guang's expression didn't change, and his heart didn't skip a beat. He only looked at the big screen as if he didn't care about what was going on outside, but his heart was already blooming with joy. Hurry up and worship me. I don't believe that you can't recognize me. Who told you that I have no talent? Did you see that? This is my acting skills. Originally, his role was only supposed to last about 30 seconds, but perhaps because his performance on the set was too perfect, Big Beard Dang, after careful consideration, felt that his performance could even improve the depth and expression of the entire film. So, he simply gave his face a close-up for 3 seconds, revealing the complex emotions of the deputy general, who was angry, belligerent, arrogant, and bloodthirsty. Although Qin Guang had put on makeup in the movie, his facial features hadn't changed at all. Tang Ying finally confirmed that her eyes were not playing tricks on her. She covered her mouth and exclaimed. Qin Guang turned around, his face as calm as a mountain. He lowered his voice and asked in a magnetic voice, What? Is there a problem? Ask me why you're in the movie. Quick, ask me. Don't tell me you and this actor are long-lost twin brothers? Tang Ying frowned and asked in a skeptical tone. That's me, okay? It's really you? Nonsense. Let me tell you, those people on the set were just like you. They all thought that someone like me who has never learned to act, wouldn't be able to act. But look at the result. Didn't I do a good job? I didn't lie to you just now, did I? I'm really going to work in the showbiz industry soon. Tang Ying's mouth was wide open. She looked at Qin Guang for a long time, but she still couldn't believe it was true. She could be considered half a movie fan, and she knew how difficult it was to get a 30-second scene in a big production like this. Not to mention that the director was Big Beard Dang, who was known for his strictness. If she wanted to get 3 seconds of a close-up from him, she would have to rely on her own strength. Otherwise, a failed performance would ruin the look and feel of the entire movie. Besides that, she couldn't deny it. Even though she knew that this assistant was played by someone she knew, it didn't seem out of character at all. It could only mean that Qin Guang's acting skills were really good. Also, let me tell you, I can't say for sure how good Zhou Ye's acting skills are, but he's just like you, one of the people who looked down on me on the set. But in the end, he made a bet with me and gave me 80,000 yuan for free. He's a godsend, a living Lei Feng. Of course, who would have thought that a university student studying environmental design would be able to walk over and get into character? Song Ningyuan, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation between the two, was also baffled. He couldn't hold back his curiosity and turned to look at Qin Guang. This time he finally found the identity of the person he was looking for. Song Ningyuan's face turned red. He was just bragging about how he knew Zhou Ye, but this guy was even worse. He snuck into the movie, won money from Zhou Ye, and left. Tang Ying liked to watch movies. This was news that Song Ningyuan had found out early on. At that moment he couldn't help but think, could this kid really be a new celebrity? Tang Ying likes movies? The information was wrong. Wait, that person on the screen looks a little familiar? At that moment, some people in the front also noticed that there was something wrong with Qin Guang's character. Isn't that Jin Shiyue's boyfriend, Qin Guang, who caused a commotion recently? Why is he in this movie too? What's so strange about that? Didn't he save Jin Shirue and Jiang Yage when they were filming this movie? He fell into our Five Capitals painting lake. Director Deng probably saw that his image was okay and wanted to thank him, so he pulled him in to play a small role. You don't say. His acting is pretty decent. Don't talk nonsense, you two. I'm a teacher from Dechuan Film and Television Academy's Performing Arts Department, and I teach this. Chen Guang's acting skills are really not something that can be described with just the word decent. Let me give you an example. Jin Shirue and Jiang Yage's acting skills are really good, but if you look closely you'll notice that their acting skills are more of a performance type. It's all because of their excellent innate qualities that they can accurately express the effect that the director wants them to achieve. But there's a downside to this. A middle-aged man beside them couldn't help but interject. When they heard that there was actually a teacher from the Performing Arts Department here, the other two people's appetites were whetted. What downside? Right now, although Jin Shirue and Jiang Yage are famous and have acted in many blockbuster movies, people generally still treat them as idols. Just like you young people often say they're goddesses, national idols, and so on. There's a reason for this situation. Their acting skills are almost at the peak of performance, but it's precisely because they've walked too deep on this path, or maybe because they're too young and lack of life experience, that they can't perform another kind of performance that's more of an experiential effect. They can't put themselves into the role from the inside out, and they can't act like methods, when it's necessary to express the character's mood and emotions with the same or similar experience. In the end, they're still a little lacking. If they can't push their acting skills to the level of a method, they won't be able to bring out a truly heavyweight performance. It'll be very difficult for them to gain deeper recognition in the industry, and they won't be able to win more heavyweight awards on the international stage. But look at Chen Guang. Although this is the first time I've seen him on screen, even if it's only a short 3 seconds of footage, I can confirm that this young man is either a genius in acting, or he's already quite accomplished. This is a very perfect method performance. This assistant really acted like a god. Director Deng is also very good. His judgment is very accurate. He didn't give him a long close-up. Otherwise, in the same shot, he would have been out of place as the assistant. This so-called out of place means that he's a supporting character. He doesn't occupy the focus of the camera, but he can still steal the show. He stunned the main character, Zhouya, in this shot. This young man is amazing. Given time, he'll definitely become a great person. Zhouya was also a little disappointing. As a veteran actor, he almost had his scene stolen by an extra in the same shot. He even had to let director Deng control the angle and duration of the extra's appearance. I'm afraid director Deng must have felt very regretful during the post-production editing. This scene should have been more intense. Perhaps because he was a little excited, the teacher's voice was a little louder. Chen Guang and the other two who were sitting behind him heard everything clearly. Chen Guang's face turned red. To be honest, I'm really a little embarrassed to be praised like this in front of my face. If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have known that I was so good. But to be honest, this really wasn't because I'd understood the essence of the method. At that time, I wasn't even myself anymore, alright? That's not right. Strictly speaking, I can also be considered a method. First, I got Lioli to heavily hypnotize me, giving me the illusion that I'd become a super best actor. Then I went to act. I hypnotized best actor, then put myself in the shoes of the character? Double hypnosis? Stealing dream space. I'm almost the most dedicated extra in history, right? Teacher is right, it's amazing. Alright, no matter what he thought, he couldn't let go of his ability to brag. You're really thick-skinned. Tang Ying pinched Chen Guang's thigh. Chen Guang chuckled. It's not that I'm thick-skinned, but what teacher said is true. Tang Ying didn't continue to pay attention to him. While everyone was commenting, another part of the movie passed. Song Ningyuan's face darkened. This time he really knew who the man in sunglasses was. You're actually Chen Guang. Don't you already have a celebrity girlfriend? Why are you trying to steal Tang Ying from me? Aren't you afraid that someone will expose you and turn the world upside down? If it weren't for his identity, Song Ningyuan would have jumped up from his chair and pointed at Chen Guang, shouting at him to expose his identity so that he wouldn't be able to do anything. Finally, the movie ended. On this side, Chen Guang and Tang Ying ignored him and walked out quickly. Song Ningyuan was hot-headed and followed them again. When they were outside the cinema, he couldn't hold it in any longer. Tang Ying. Wait a minute. Tang Ying turned around and didn't wait for Chen Guang to hug her. Instead, she took the initiative to hold Chen Guang's hand. Mr. Song, you're also a person of status and identity. You don't have to do this, right? There are plenty of fish in the sea. Why do you have to do this? Her emotions were a little out of control, so she held onto Qin Guang's hand with too much force. She didn't realize that Qin Guang's arm was completely sandwiched between her ample breasts. Chapter 462. Song Ningyuan stared at the scene, his eyes red with jealousy. He pointed at Qin Guang and said, "His name is Qin Guang, right? You know who he is, right? Do you want me to expose him in front of everyone? Don't think that you can do anything sneaky just because you're wearing sunglasses. He's just a guy who relies on a woman to get to where he is." "Oh, this guy is trying to pick a fight?" Qin Guang clenched his fists, his knuckles cracking, and he was about to make a move. "I told you I don't like to talk nonsense. If I can make a move, I won't. No matter how much he spits, it can't compare to a punch in the face." Tang Ying panicked. She couldn't let Qin Guang make a move, so she hugged his arm tightly. "Of course I know who he is. But what does it have to do with you? What's wrong with me liking young and handsome little brothers? You, Song Ningyuan, are the chairman of a public company, Tiansong Water. Do you have to be so despicable? It's my freedom to be with whoever I like, okay? If you insist on pestering me, don't blame me for being rude." After that, Tang Ying didn't wait for Qin Guang to explode, and ignored Song Ningyuan. Tang Ying dragged Qin Guang away. Seeing the adulterous couple quickly walking away, Song Ningyuan was so angry that his head was about to explode. He kicked the trash can next to him. With a thud, he hugged his toes and screamed, "Adulterous couple. This isn't over. Why did you drag me?" Qin Guang was dissatisfied with Tang Ying's change of topic. Tang Ying rolled her eyes at him. "You only know how to touch me. Didn't I just say that you're a student of environmental protection, but you don't know about Tiansong Water?" Qin Guang shook his head. "I'm only in my 3rd year. Why would I need to know about the water? Is it that great? You really have a big heart. Go back and ask around yourself. Otherwise, you'll understand if you look it up on the internet." Tiansong Water Company, established in 2001, is a large-scale water company that integrates water supply, drainage, and plant network. It is the leading enterprise in urban water supply and drainage projects and water operation projects in Dachuan Province, with a net asset of more than 20 billion. On this side, Qin Guang had already looked it up and read it word by word. "Now do you know how powerful I am?" Tang Ying glared at him fiercely. "You looked so fierce just now. I think you're thinking of changing professions after you graduate, right? The water treatment industry in Great Chuan Province, whether it's the investment and operation of water supply or sewage treatment, although Tiansong Water Company doesn't have an absolute monopoly, it's definitely a hurdle that can't be crossed." Qin Guang looked at her angrily. "You still have the cheek to talk about me? Didn't you drag me into this? No matter how big the hatred in this world is, it can't be bigger than snatching a woman." Tang Ying was happily scolding him, but her expression stiffened when she heard that. She looked at Qin Guang apologetically. "That seems to be the case. I'm sorry. Fine, I was just saying it casually. I don't really care that much. Besides, I'm considered an internet celebrity now and I don't lack money. Tiansong Water Company is in charge of everything, so how can they care about what I eat and drink? Sister Tang Ying, if you're in trouble, don't even mention offending Song Ningyuan. If you want me to climb a mountain of swords and dive into a sea of flames, I won't hesitate." Qin Guang patted his chest loudly. Tang Ying covered her mouth and laughed. "I didn't think that Lady Tong had such good taste before, but today I realized that she really has a unique insight." She dug out this treasure from the crowd and made it her little brother. After having dinner with Tang Ying, Qin Guang drove back to his neighborhood. It was already dark when he reached home. When he opened the door, he suddenly felt empty. In the past, he didn't realize how boring it was to stay at home alone, and he always complained that others were troublesome. But when he was really lonely and cold, he knew how happy it was to have someone by his side. Even if his 3rd grandson from his dormitory was by his side. He turned on his newly installed computer and surfed the internet. He was delighted. The premiere of Tears for Rivers and Mountains Will Last was quite good. Although there were still praise and criticism, it was still rated as this year's domestic film with a conscience. The comments on the internet were not overwhelming, but the popularity of the film was not low in the past 2 days. Today it had reached its peak. Film critics were commenting on the theme and depth of the film, and they were even giving pointers on the performances of the actors in the film. Jin Shuiwei and Jiang Yage's performances were as stable as ever. Both their beauty and acting skills were worthy of their status as outstanding young actors. A few of the older men also had a breakthrough in their performances, especially the second male lead who played the villain. He had completely broken away from the shackles of playing the good guy in the past. The ordinary audience watching the film also had their own opinions, and most of them applauded the film. Only one person complained that Joya was almost like a paralyzed best actor, playing the role of a good military advisor as an Iron Man. However, in the middle of these normal comments, there was a bunch of strange comments. That's right, these people were not talking about the plot, the depth of the film, or the outstanding performance of a certain main character or supporting character. They were all talking about a certain deputy general who only had 33 seconds of screen time in the entire film. That was the character of Qin Guang. This is Goddess Jin's boyfriend, right? I didn't think he was very handsome when I saw the post last time. I didn't expect him to be so photogenic. His body is so good. This guy's acting skills are pretty good. I don't know why, but after watching the entire film, the thing that left the deepest impression in my mind was the close-up of this guy's face. P.S. I'm a man. Didn't the previous post say that he was a university student studying environmental protection? Why do I feel like he's a professional actor? I'm a senior in acting. I've already acted in a few films. I welcome everyone to follow my Weibo. No matter what you think, I think this guy can be a good actor. An environmental warrior who doesn't like to be an actor is not a good boyfriend. Previous poster, 6666. Similar discussions took up almost a third of all the discussions about the movie Country. It was hard to tell if Qin Guang's short performance was too eye-catching, or if the halo of being Jin Shiryua's boyfriend was too strong. In short, things inexplicably turned out to be like this. Perhaps the teacher at the cinema was right. Regardless of how good Qin Guang's acting was at other times, at least in the short scene in the movie, he was a master in acting. It seemed like a coincidence that the others were discussing the movie so enthusiastically, but it was actually because of his perfect performance. This was a very mysterious thing. It was difficult to find the reason behind it, but it was inevitable. If Big Beard Deng had known that things would turn out like this with Qin Guang's small role, he would have thought about it carefully during the post-production. Actually, he couldn't be blamed. After all, when he was doing the post-production, Qin Guang and Jin Shiryue had nothing to do with each other. Man proposes, God disposes. Plans can't keep up with changes. The fake relationship between the two that was exposed became the straw that broke the camel's back. Not only were the major film review websites hyping up this matter, even his almighty Superman Weibo account became a little popular. There was a round of applause below. The audience and fans who wanted to watch the commotion were all clamoring. The almighty brother Almighty was going to enter the entertainment industry next. Of course, there were also some who weren't so pleasant to hear. The general meaning was similar to what Song Ningyuan had said today. At first, Qin Guang would get angry when he saw similar words, but after a long time he was already very resistant to it. He couldn't be bothered to argue with these online trolls anymore. After all, if someone were to criticize you through the screen, there was nothing you could do even if you were angry. If you argued with every single troll, you would be angered to death. At this moment, a voice suddenly appeared on the internet. This person's words were quite thought-provoking, and people couldn't help but pay attention to it. Amidst the applause on the internet, Zhang Tianming, the male lead of Tears for a Country Will Never End, was the first to jump out and criticize Qin Guang. Everyone, please pay more attention to the entire film and not stare at some insignificant person. This is disrespectful to the other main cast members of the film. Some people should stop their hype. What's the point of making a name for themselves? What's there to brag about with a beginner's acting skills? He dragged the entire production crew to play for an entire afternoon and finally got through one scene. How dare he shout it out to the whole world? Zhang Qianming's sudden attack caught everyone off guard. Perhaps he was unhappy that as the male lead, he had been robbed of the limelight by a minor character. Or perhaps he really couldn't stand the sight of Qin Guang and Jin Shiryue flirting with each other. Jealousy burned through his heart. None of that mattered. In short, he was the first to criticize. With Zhang Tianming taking the lead, many people in the production crew of Rivers and Mountains, who were close to him, also began to criticize. I've been filming for so many years, but this is the first time I've seen such a shameless minor character. People nowadays really don't care about anything for the sake of fame. Some people don't have any abilities and only know how to use a woman's fame to swagger through the city. It's better to keep a low profile. Although there were many people who criticized him, upon closer inspection, most of those who were unhappy with Qin Guang were people who weren't present at the scene of the lake painting incident. They didn't feel any gratitude towards Qin Guang, so it was no wonder that they were like this. Qin Guang didn't care much about being criticized by the netizens. However, he was unhappy that the main cast of Rivers and Mountains was bombarding him one after another. I didn't do anything to provoke you. Is there a need to do this? If he didn't say anything and continued to smear his name, he might really become the kind of person they were talking about. If I really made a name for myself, then I'll admit it. However, this has nothing to do with me, okay? You're scolding me so clearly. Although you didn't mention my name, even an idiot would know that you're talking about me, right? It had to be said that under the Weibo posts of Zhang Tianming and the other main cast members who criticized him, there was indeed a portion of people who believed it. After all, from the premiere until now, Qin Guang had become so popular that he himself didn't know why. Others didn't understand and felt that it was understandable that he had hired a water army. I was just saying that this person became popular for no reason this afternoon. I don't think his acting skills are that good. 3 seconds of footage and a topic that's even more popular than the main cast. I'll just chuckle. How many cents did this person throw out? Brother Tianming is right. Boycott this kind of shameless and immoral artist. Chapter 463. With someone taking the lead, the haters who had been fading away recently also popped up and rushed to Qin Guang's Weibo to start flaming him. In the past, Qin Guang had been flamed mainly because he had seduced everyone's goddess. But today there was finally something new. Trash Qin, get out of the entertainment industry. You only know how to create hype. You've only been acting for 3 seconds and you're already like this. If you were a second male lead, wouldn't you be blown out of the universe? Scumbag. Scum. Goddess Jean must be blind to have fallen for you. No wonder you always wore a mask. You're too ugly to face people. Now that you've taken off your mask, is it because you've cultivated your skin to be thicker? You must have bribed someone to get into the production team. You've ruined such a good big production. Therefore, there were a lot of idle people on the internet. Celebrities' flame wars were really the best pastime to pass time. On one side was the popular movie star, Zhang Tianming, and on the other side was Jin Shiyue's elusive boyfriend. Of these two, one had just worked with Jin Shiyue in Country and Throne, and the other had been quite popular recently. Now that something had happened, it was interesting. There were more and more people watching the commotion online, and more people followed up from time to time. After all, Zhang Tianming had been famous for a long time. His Weibo fans were no less than Qin Guang's, and his hardcore movie fans were even more than Qin Guang's. Less than half an hour after he started flaming, Qin Guang was really scolded on the internet. The haters said that he relied on women to get to the top, and more people really thought so. After scrolling through these comments, Qin Guang slammed the table. F***ck, they're taking advantage of me? I didn't say anything and you guys really think I'm a pushover? He was so angry. When I was acting in this movie, I couldn't even wait to hide from the two of them, okay? Big Beard Deng asked me to be a cameo. What does it have to do with Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yache? He was about to type a Weibo post to scold them back. Don't talk to me about manners, my temper is just that bad. %yen, and then hashtag. F. After typing out a bunch of vulgarities, Qin Guang received a new post on Weibo before he could even send it. Someone tagged Qin Guang. He clicked on it and was overjoyed. It was actually a Weibo post from the assistant director, Yang Shi, who had been tortured to death by him. Although Yang Shi was only a small character in Big Beard Deng's crew, he had some popular web dramas over the years, so he still had a certain level of fame. It's not my place to comment on other people's matters, but I believe that I have the right to comment on Qin Guang's acting. When he first came to the film crew, he was a greenhorn who didn't know anything. At the audition, his performance was terrible. Director Deng asked me to teach him step by step, and I almost started to doubt my life. But I have to point. It took him only half a day to bring out his on-screen performance. I think his performance is worthy of this movie. Then Zhouya, the guy who always gave away money, actually stood up for Qin Guang. You guys might not know this, but I was annoyed at him at first. I thought he was wasting the crew's time, so I made a bet with him that he wouldn't be able to act. Then I lost 80,000 yuan to him and I was convinced of my loss. Tianming wasn't on set that day, so his opinion might be biased. I hope everyone can be more rational. Apart from these two, there were also some crew members who had watched Qin Guang save people during the lake painting incident. They all stood up to support Qin Guang. With that, the public opinion online was divided into two factions. But Zhang Tianming's faction was still stronger. After all, there was a popular celebrity leading the way. Yang Shi and Zhou Ye's support only made the public opinion slightly less one-sided. At that moment, Zhang Tianming posted on Weibo again. This time he tagged a few people who had just supported Qin Guang. I wasn't there when the incident happened that day, but I know. I'm also very grateful for Qin Guang's bravery. After all, if it weren't for him, this movie would have died prematurely. But a movie is a movie, not a favor. If anyone can act in a movie just by doing favors, then you guys are underestimating your own profession. Acting is an art. I'm not afraid to offend people, but I can't tolerate sand in my eyes when it comes to pursuing art. This time, not only did he aim his gun at Qin Guang, but he also directed the fire at Big Beard Deng, who had given Qin Guang a chance. You're not done yet, are you? Qin Guang typed furiously on the keyboard for a while. I don't know which eye of some idiot saw that I was hyping things up. He secretly watched the premiere and ran home happily. Then, someone held a pile of sh*t in his hand and tried to stuff it into my mouth. Thanks, but I don't like your taste. You should just accept it. Some people are almost in their 40s, yet they're acting like young people in their 20s. Their old faces are so cute that I'm almost embarrassed. If you really want to pursue art, you should take care of yourself first and then others, okay? He was talking about Zhang Tianming, but he wasn't complaining about Country and Throne. Instead, he was complaining about the terrible idol movie that Zhang Tianming had acted in the first half of the year. Today, when the box office of the movie industry was exploding, that movie didn't even make 50 million yuan. It was also scolded on the internet. It was a stain on Zhang Tianming's life. Haha, Brother Almighty has finally flipped out. I thought he would be able to hold it in much longer. Brother Almighty, well scolded. What art? You're so bad at acting, yet you can't bear to see others doing well. Even a minor character can be more eye-catching than the male lead. I don't know what you guys think, but if it were me, I'd kill myself with a piece of tofu. An old senior scolding a newcomer for no reason, and still has the cheek to say that he's hyping things up. That's right. Zhang Tianming feels that he's almost past his prime. He's in a hurry to hype things up to increase his popularity. It's urgent and crucial. Brother Almighty, ignore him. Don't let him use you. These were the fans who supported Qin Guang. However, those fans of Zhang Tianming were furious. They were like cats whose tails had been stepped on. They rushed to Qin Guang's Weibo and said all sorts of nasty things. Zhang Tianming's sore spot was caught by Qin Guang. He was disgusted and replied on Weibo, "You're still saying that it's not hyping things up? Don't you want to use me to become famous? I'll make you famous." Okay. After saying that, he tagged Qin Guang again. Qin Guang, the one who stirs up trouble first is a scumbag. Zhang Tianming, what kind of manners are you? Can you talk about the matter as it stands? Qin Guang, no matter how bad my manners are, I'm still better than the scumbag who stirs up trouble first. Talk about the F***King high matter. And you're still a university student? You're full of vulgarities. I say what kind of person I meet. I speak human language when I meet people, I speak nonsense when I meet ghosts, and I speak vulgarities when I meet dirty things. F***ck, yo, you're a celebrity, an artist, and a public figure. A best actor is scolding people. Everyone come and see. A best actor is greeting someone's family. How can this kind of trash be a best actor? Zhang Tianming, as a popular movie star, he did not have much experience in scolding people on the internet. Especially when he was putting on airs, he was not used to Qin Guang's unorthodox way of saying scumbags every time he opened his mouth. He also wanted to be a hoodlum like Qin Guang, but he had to cherish his reputation. He could not do it. While Zhang Tianming was scolding him into silence, another two people jumped out. In the end, just as the two of them appeared, Qin Guang said again, "The scumbag thing Sharpei came to bite me together. I'm just a small character. Did I dig up your ancestral grave or step on your father's memorial tablet? Come on, come and scold me. Come and stir up trouble, don't stop. If I don't curse 18 generations of your ancestors to death, will my surname not be Qin? F***ck your mother, do you really think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my prowess?" What did it mean to have tens of millions of internet celebrities scolding people? It meant that once they started scolding, there would be millions of people watching the show in an instant. Qin Guang's unorthodox way of scolding stunned Zhang Tianming and the others. We're just scolding people secretly, but you're full of vulgarities right off the bat. It's different from the scolding battle we've seen before. You're a famous internet celebrity, a public figure, yet you're scolding people shamelessly. You have no sense of propriety. They had never seen such a celebrity before, so they were completely defenseless. Qin Guang didn't usually like to use vulgarities, but this time he was infuriated. I'm not even close to you, so why am I in the mood to play subtle with you? You make me unhappy, so I'll scold you first. Seeing that a large group of people couldn't retaliate against Qin Guang's scolding, the onlookers nearly burst into laughter. Even Yang Shi and the others who were speaking up for Qin Guang were sweating profusely. They even pitted Zhang Tianming. Superstar Zhang thought that this was a normal scene of celebrities scolding each other to create hype, but in the end they didn't play along. You're deflated, right? You're angry, right? You want to scold back, but you're afraid of ruining your image, right? You're embarrassed, right? Aren't you asking for it? Through the computer, Zhang Tianming slammed the table. F***CK. The scumbag. He's too despicable. I want to scold him to death. With that said, he started typing on Weibo. F***CK. Before he could send it out, his agent stopped him from doing so. Brother Tianming. Don't. Please don't. He's a country bumpkin, but we don't have to be like him. Bam. Zhang Tianming slammed the table again. So I'm just scolding him for nothing? The manager thought of an idea. This guy is a public figure and his words are full of vulgarities. I'll call the Weibo company to block him. We've been working with the Weibo company for so many years, so we have to give them some face. Zhang Tianming rolled his eyes. That's a good idea. We'll block him first before trampling on him. 2 minutes later, his manager hung up the phone with a bitter expression. Weibo doesn't agree to it. They even said that they can't control this almighty Superman account. Zhang Tianming was dumbfounded. What? The manager shook his head. I don't know either. What do we do now? Zhang Tianming glared. The manager continued to shake his head. I still don't know. About 5 minutes later, Zhang Tianming finally replied, I don't want to waste my saliva on people without manners. People like you aren't welcome in the entertainment industry. The manager said cautiously, Brother Tianming, won't we offend Jin Shirihua too much by hyping him up like this? What if Jin Shirihua stands up for Qin Guang now? Wouldn't the situation be disadvantageous to us? Chapter 464. Zhang Tianming shook his head. Don't worry about that. Although Jin Shirihua has a powerful background, she hasn't suppressed anyone in the industry all these years. We didn't provoke her. We're just stepping on Qin Guang a little. It's still uncertain whether these two will succeed in the future. Besides, if Jin Shirihua really supports Qin Guang, doesn't that prove that I'm right? All men cared about their face, and it was the same for Qin Guang. Speaking of which, it's really infuriating. It wasn't easy for him to act in a blockbuster movie, but a small character is actually shouting louder than me. I don't believe there's nothing fishy going on here. Zhang Tianming was right about this. Qin Guang had just restrained Jin Shirihua and Jiang Yage over the phone, telling them not to get involved in this matter and to pretend that they didn't see anything. Don't worry about it. Look at what the internet is saying about me. Don't you think I'm being wronged? I haven't even done anything, but people are scolding me for living off a woman. This isn't the first time I've heard this today. In the afternoon when I was watching the premiere at the cinema, I was also scolded like this. It's intolerable. Qin Guang slammed the phone down and planned to continue scolding. At this moment, an important figure finally spoke up. Big Beard Deng updated his Weibo. He didn't mention names but just said, when I, Big Beard Deng, make movies, I never care about relationships. Even if it's my son, it's impossible for him to get away with it. I can't stand a single grain of sand in my eyes. Qin Guang's acting is very good and I like it very much. Although he has never studied performing arts professionally, as Yang Shi said, he is very talented. I haven't even seen a young actor who is more talented than him. Are you interested in playing a supporting role in my next movie? You're still a little lacking as the main lead, but you can take it slow. Deng Xiaojiang directly Qin Guang at the end of this Weibo post. Big Beard Deng publicly invited Qin Guang to act in a movie. A single stone caused 1,000 ripples. Just a moment ago, Zhang Tianming had said that no one in the entertainment industry welcomed Qin Guang. In the blink of an eye, a big-shot director like Director Deng had actually asked him to act in a movie. This slap in the face had come too abruptly. It's true that you're a popular movie star, but he's the chief director. Do you think he has a better eye for people than you? Moreover, this was the famous director Deng Xiaojiang, who was famous for his strictness. He wasn't some small fry who could enter the crew just by bribing them. Qin Guang was amused. My uncle is still the best. Look, with just a word from my uncle, all the doubts have been dispelled. Looking at Deng Xiaojiang's Weibo post, Zhang Tianming felt as if he had eaten sh*t. He didn't expect Qin Guang and director Deng to have such a good relationship. He couldn't figure it out. After all, he was a veteran actor who had been in the industry for many years. Big Beard Deng didn't give him any face at all. Although he didn't scold him by name, this was worse than scolding him directly. He really couldn't say a word for a long time. Since then, the online scolding war on the night Tears Will Run Dry was announced to have come to an end. The group of haters led by Zhang Tianming had been completely defeated. They didn't win in scolding people. They were scolded to death by Qin Guang. They didn't even resist. Instead, Big Beard Deng stood out to express his stance. They managed to stir up some fame, but unfortunately, it wasn't a good one. Others only remembered how helpless and cowardly they were after being scolded. Qin Guang chuckled as he looked at his computer and replied to Deng Xiaojing, "All right. I won't let Uncle down." He thought that Big Beard Deng was just saying it casually to keep up appearances. He didn't want to take it seriously. Unexpectedly, within 30 seconds, Big Beard Deng personally called him. "Then it's settled. I'll send you the script in 2 days. You'll play the drug addict second male lead. Think about the role yourself. We'll probably start filming next month." Qin Guang was dumbfounded. "Uncle, are you serious?" "Duh, do you think I'm joking with you? Don't shirk it, it's settled. To tell you the truth, if you don't come, we won't be able to continue filming. You'll understand when the time comes. I can't explain it in a few words now." Then Big Beard Deng hung up the phone. He obviously didn't want to give him a chance to shirk it. Qin Guang held his phone in a daze and looked up at the ceiling. He thought to himself, "Uncle, although my performance in Rivers and Mountains was quite good, there was a special reason for it." While he was in a daze, he saw that Big Beard Deng had updated his Weibo again. "I've just talked to Qin Guang over the phone. I'll announce that Qin Guang has officially joined the cast of Women and will be playing the second male lead. Please look forward to it." "Damn. I've been forced to do something beyond my capabilities." Qin Guang suddenly came back to his senses. "With my lousy acting skills, how can I be the second male lead? I can still try to play the tree, and the second tree is barely up to the task. Isn't the second male lead worth my life? You've put me in a ditch just because of a disagreement." While he was still in a daze, Jiang Yage called again. Qin Guang, is what Big Beard said true?" Qin Guang said weakly, "I think maybe it's mostly true." Jiang Yage was amused. "That's good. I'm going to sign the contract with him. The role that he's given to me will be kissing the second male lead. I didn't want to take it at first, but if you're the second male lead, I'll take it." Then she hung up the phone again. 30 seconds later, Jiang Yage and Big Beard Deng updated their Weibo accounts almost at the same time, announcing that the role of the first female lead had been decided. Everything happened so quickly that Qin Guang couldn't react at all. When he finally came back to his senses, he stomped his feet and said, "I've been tricked. I've definitely been tricked. No wonder they said it had to be me. After all this time, I've really been living off Jiang Yage. She must have told Big Beard not to do the kissing scene, so she pushed the blame onto me." He was also pounding his chest and stamping his feet, regretting what he had done. "Uncle, don't be like this. I thought you were going to lend me a helping hand at a critical moment, but you came with a cage. Although I managed to muddle through acting in Country and Throne, there are too many scenes for the second male lead. I can't possibly rely on hypnosis every day, and Lioli might not agree to it either. What should I do?" Just as he was lamenting in his heart, he felt that something was amiss. "Am I Faith?" He suddenly realized something. It seemed like the production of Faith had increased a little. A few days ago, the production was about 30,000 points a day. This evening, after he came back and argued with people online for 2 hours and made a few phone calls, the production of Faith had actually increased by more than 3,000 points, reaching a total of 34,000 points a day. The Alto statue had originally been producing 20,000 points a day, but the increase wasn't much, only about 500 points. The pencil statue's production had skyrocketed from 60 points a day to nearly 1,000 points. The piano statue's production had increased from more than 1,000 points a day to about 2,500 points, a net increase of 1,500 points. The production of the three great statues of alto, pencil and piano had increased by a considerable margin, but the Dota statue had not moved. Why was that? After a careful examination, he realized that when he was arguing with people, he had attracted a lot of new viewers who were not fans of the Almighty Superman account. Perhaps they had come to criticize him, or perhaps they had come to support him. Anyway, after the incident, they seemed to have watched the historical videos that he had previously posted one by one. As a cultured and talented internet celebrity, the videos that Qin Guang had posted were all genuine and could make people have the urge to worship him after watching them. The fact that the Alto statue could still increase was a pleasant surprise, but on second thought, it wasn't strange. Although he had made a big name for himself in the Xiangjiang gambling race and became a well-deserved god in the underground racing world, underground racing was ultimately a small circle, and he had not won any rankings in internationally famous racing competitions. Others might be thinking about who's the fastest racer, but their admiration for Qin Guang wouldn't be comparable to them calling out Qin Guang as the fastest racer. Attracting people to watch the video again was equivalent to making his originally illusory image in people's hearts more tangible, and it was understandable that the faith value would increase. The pencil statue's increase was so astonishing that it had increased by more than 10 times, which was normal. Those who had not seen his video would wonder who in the world was the best sharpener in the world. This was simply a qualitative change from nothing to something. As for the Dota statue, it was also normal that there was almost no increase. The record of 10,000 points in the 4 servers was right there, and players around the world could see it. Some time ago when he was live streaming to increase his points, the rhythm of Tieba and forums exploded. Almost all the Dota players knew about it, and the fans that should have come were already there. The reason why it didn't increase now was because it had reached its peak. After all, there were only so many players in this game. Seeing the faith value and his popularity increase, Qin Guang was extremely happy. This was really not a loss. Looking at the comments below Weibo, he knew the change. Oh my god, this pencil sharpening, is he even human? I'm a professional racer. Just now my coach and teammates asked me why I was kneeling and playing with my phone, and now they're kneeling on the ground with me. It's my lifelong regret that I couldn't see Brother Almighty's live broadcast of the piano performance. Fortunately, there are videos here. I hope the Almighty will update more videos related to the piano. I'm your piano fan. Strongly requesting Almighty to participate in the WRC rally. Don't you think it's scary? Sharpening a pencil like this in 1 second. Isn't sharpening pencils the best? I'm the head coach of the Volkswagen team. I really can't contact the blogger, so I can only reply to the comments here. If Mr. Qin is interested, please contact me to join the Volkswagen team. This was actually a reply from a verified Weibo, and it was really a team coach. Reading these replies one by one, Qin Guang grinned. Earning faith value was happier than earning money. Cursing on the street could also gain new fans. What a pleasant surprise. Not only that, even his Weibo fans had increased to more than 11 million. He hoped that there would be a few more weak opponents like Zhang Tianming in the future so that he could not only scold them for fun, but also increase his popularity. Chapter 465. However, there was one thing that made him particularly regretful. There were also a lot of comments from fans under the dart-throwing videos, but because there was no statue, these fans could not be converted into faith points. Qin Guang was anxious. He did not know what the problem was. The dart-throwing statue had not been built yet. If it really doesn't work, should I try to do both a live broadcast and Weibo tomorrow? After making up his mind, Qin Guang first called Xiao Chong to inform him in advance. He planned to do a live broadcast of the dart-throwing competition tomorrow afternoon. Since it was a live broadcast, he couldn't stay at home alone. Qin Guang also found a famous dart-throwing club in Wuxia on the internet and prepared to go directly to the venue tomorrow morning. Since he was going to do it, he had to do it the best. Therefore, he had to take a shower and change his clothes. Then he calmed down and adjusted his state of mind and state. After doing this, he decisively lay down on the bed, quickly meditated, and then fell asleep. The next morning, before he had time to go out, he received good news. Weibo's social media traffic fee had been received. No more, no less. It was exactly 1 million in cash. Normal social media with tens of millions of fans did not have such a high advertising commission. Those who understood would know that the same tens of millions of fans Qin Guang had were all living users who could provide real click-through rates. Some celebrities with 40 to 50 million fans had less than a third of Qin Guang's Weibo comments and reposts. He was worried that he did not have enough money to get a membership card for the dart-throwing club. Weibo's company was kind enough to give him a big gift. He went to the breakfast shop at the entrance of the community and ate 3 big buns and a bowl of porridge. He enjoyed the joy of a commoner's breakfast. Then, under the gaze of some girls in the community with ulterior motives, he drove out in his phaeton. Nowadays, sunglasses were a common item. Without them, it was almost impossible to move. Fortunately, he was not famous enough at the moment. After all, there were only a few people who could recognize him from his face and figure. A pair of sunglasses was enough. When he arrived in the city, he went to the place he had inquired about. Darts could be considered a minority among the minority. In the vast Wujing city, there were less than 5 clubs that specialized in this line of business. The club that Qin Guang had chosen was currently the largest. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, he leisurely arrived at the place and walked into the empty hall. It was so quiet that a sneeze could scare the soul out of a person. The girls at the front desk were quite pretty. They tidied themselves up cleanly and looked energetic. "Hello, sir. Are you here to register for the competition?" One of the petite receptionists put down her phone and gave Qin Guang a professional smile. Qin Guang hesitated in his heart for about 3 seconds. With the old man's current status and the old man's extremely handsome beauty, oh no, appearance, if he put the UBS black card on the counter and asked for her number, he would definitely get it. What prompted him to dispel this idea was that he keenly discovered a few words on the front desk girl's phone screen. She seemed to be a novel reader. If I'm not mistaken, isn't the title of the book by Nyangzi's unlucky wife "How Many Times Do You Love Me?" I'm a young man with ideals and pursuits. I can't ruin my reputation in this kind of place. I have to keep a distance from this kind of girl who has a different outlook on life in the world. No, I'm not here to register. I just want to ask, how much is one membership card? What kind of model is this? What kind of venue can you provide me? He said, and then took off his sunglasses. Aren't you Qin Guang? As soon as the sunglasses were taken off, the girl directly screamed. The few people next to her also turned their heads when they heard this. In the spacious hall there was a lot of chatter and it was very lively. Qin Guang broke out in a cold sweat. He was recognized so quickly. Fortunately, he kept his integrity just now, or else his reputation would be ruined in minutes. How free are you guys all day? Even the slightest movement on the internet makes you guys pay attention to it. I took off my sunglasses for less than 2 seconds and you guys already recognized me. Aren't your reactions a little too fast? With a smile, he flicked his hair and replied, "Not bad. I'm indeed Qin Guang." Seeing that he admitted it so straightforwardly, the girls were even more excited. "You're more handsome in real life than you look on the internet." A short-haired girl handed the phone forward with a red face, pointed to the screen and said, "Celebrity, I actually met a celebrity. All-around Superman. I'm a fan of your Weibo. Look, this is the message I posted yesterday." Qin Guang looked down and blushed. This girl was very bold and very violent. Hubby F***ck me. Not this one. The short-haired girl took the phone back in a panic and stole a glance at Qin Guang, looking like she wanted to welcome him. Qin Guang grinned. "I admire decisive and bold fans like you. Let's go to the toilet next door and talk about life." She took the phone back again. The previous one was wrong. "It's this one." When Qin Guang took another look, his face turned even redder. He had no idea what to say about people nowadays. This comment was even more beastly than the previous one. It was written, F***ck stop. The girl next to her was unhappy. "Hey, Xiaofang, aren't you ashamed? He's Jin Shiyue's boyfriend. How could he like you?" The short-haired girl called Xiaofang heard this and immediately shrank to the side. "Yes, but brother all around, can you give me an autograph?" "No, I can like him. To be honest, Xiaofang, you're very beautiful. This curvy body is very worthy of the old man's aesthetic standards." These beauties really know how to joke. His heart was about to spurt blood, but Qin Guang only put on a carefree smile on his face. He was quite mature and steady. With a sense of loss that was about to swallow him whole, he signed a few names on the notebooks for the girls, which was considered to have passed the test. "Yes, I got Jin Shiyue's boyfriend's autograph. I'm so happy. This is Jin Shiyue's boyfriend." Qin Guang silently raised his head and looked at the chandelier on the ceiling. He thought to himself, "Brother Chandelier, why don't you just drop it and smash me to death? I'm about to die. Because of Jin Shiyue's Weibo, how much sin would I have to suffer?" He had never felt so remorseful before. "Why don't I go back and announce our breakup on Weibo? What's all this fuss about?" At this time, a middle-aged man in a suit walked out from the back office. He seemed to have tolerated the few girls at the front desk for a long time. "Although there aren't many customers this morning, can you guys be more professional?" "Manager." A few of the girls exclaimed and quickly sat up straight, putting on a serious expression. Xiaofang's expression changed the fastest. "Hello sir, this is our membership system brochure. Please read it carefully. Our membership system is divided into 3 levels. The manager in a suit walked over and glared fiercely at the few receptionists. Then he screamed with a voice that was sharper than a woman's, "Oh my God! Qin Guang! Almighty Superman! Jin Shiyue's boyfriend! Oh my god. *CK my ears. After all this time, you're the same kind of person as them. After living for almost 21 years, this was the first time Qin Guang experienced the benefits of swiping his face card. Without spending a penny, he became a lifetime diamond member of the club, worth 188,800 renminbi. The price he paid was that the manager dragged a few girls at the front desk to take a photo with him. In a few days, this photo would be hung on the wall together with a few other framed photos. Qin Guang looked around casually. There were already photos of Intral Asia Pacific CEO Mr. XX, an unknown and unfamiliar famous actor Mr. XX, and a former leader Mr. XX. Thinking about it carefully, his photo could be hung together with these people. It seemed to be a symbol of status. He asked the manager to arrange a room for him. First, he casually threw darts in the club to get the feeling. Although his skills were already at the peak, he still had to carefully think about how to do some tricks to attract attention during the live broadcast. The time of the live broadcast with Xiao Tsong was around 12:30 p.m. That was the short lunch break for office workers and after school for the monks. It was the time of the day when he could get the most popularity. Xiao Tsong was kind. After Qin Guang told him about it last night, he started to build momentum on the internet. When it was almost noon, the news that Almighty Superman was going to start a new round of live broadcast had already caused an uproar on the internet. This was the reason why there was a lot of controversy when one was popular. The content of his previous live broadcast was the game Dota. The people who were attracted were either fans of the celebrities who reposted it or fans of Dota. In the past few days, the people who accompanied him in his live broadcast were basically people who really liked this game. There were people who criticized him, but there weren't many, and they were all concentrated in the category of Dota. Of course, in the end, he also showed his undeniable ability and made all the doubters shut their mouths. The only god in the world with 4 servers, no one could doubt him no matter what he said. But this time in Xiao Tsong's promotion, he, as a game streamer, stopped broadcasting games halfway through and switched to broadcasting darts, which people couldn't understand. Those who didn't like him had something to say, especially the hired water army of Bamboo's rival platform. They were even more unscrupulous. What's so good about throwing darts? Is he treating people like fools? That's right. I think it's super boring even if I use my toes to think about it. He thinks he's a celebrity and anything he broadcasts can be popular. Who cares if you want to watch it or not? Some people with a little bit of fame become arrogant. No matter how loud Bamboo's advertisement is, I'm not interested in watching other people throw darts. Just thinking about it makes me feel awkward. Once Xiao Tsong's promotion started, similar views emerged on the internet. Coupled with the fight between Qin Guang and Zhang Tianming, Zhang Tianming's fans hated him. They even formed a group to criticize his Weibo post announcing that he was going to broadcast his dart skills. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.